Hi guys, welcome back to Chris's channel for this live Premier League watch-along between Fulham and Tottenham Hotspur. We're live on YouTube, Facebook, X, and Twitch. Make sure you get involved and send your comments in, as some people already are. Blake Straub, I'm going to bring your comment up straight up. Look at this. Barnaby, biggest armchair critic out there. Loves Ange when we win, calls for his head when we lose. Thank you so much for your comment, Blake. Really appreciate it. I get the sense a little bit with people when it comes to supporting Tottenham that you're, especially under Ange Postecoglou, that almost like you are, a lot of people are either they're kind of set in stone. They've made their decision and nothing is able to change based on the performances that you watch or the situations. And I think personally, and like I said, Blake, really appreciate you sending your comment in. I think it's totally subjective and you can be however you want to be. But if you support a club based on what you see and what you watch, then yes, things are always going to change. Like, I can't say to you, you know, in the first season under Maurizio Pochettino, that I thought Maurizio Pochettino was going to become the Maurizio Pochettino that took Tottenham to a Champions League final, because it just wasn't like that. That's just the reality of how it was. But as he improved and he tweaked things and he changed and the squad got better and the team got better together, then he learned and he grew as well. And listen, like I said, I've said it so many times, I'll keep saying it. I'm desperate for it to work with Ange Postecoglou. I love the guy. I think he talks so well. I think he's brilliant. But we keep conceding the same goal over and over again. So things aren't changing. And also the injuries keep happening. And yes, I know it's a broad brush when it comes to injuries. Hamstring injuries are up within the Premier League by, I think, 10-15%. But Tottenham are at the top of that list. And as I've said all season with Ange Postecoglou, the problems he has are too many injuries, and he keeps conceding the same goal over and over again. And that will potentially, unless he wins the Europa League, I think, be his downfall. But again, Blake, I'll say it to you. I'd love it to work for Ange. I really would. And I think being a football fan is about being reactive. That's the reality. You react to what you see on the pitch. And when someone plays an absolutely stinking pass and you're passionate about it and you're invested, yeah, you get annoyed about it. And then if they play a good pass the next minute, you're behind them and you love them for it. So I don't really think that your point makes any sense. Like, yes, I'm desperate for it to work for Ange. And if he stops conceding the same goal and we stop getting so many injuries, then I think he's basically got everything to be an absolutely top level manager, elite manager at the Premier League level. I love the style of play. I love his mentality. I love how he wants us to get on the front foot. But you get found out at the top level. You do. And I'll bring it back to Marcelo Bielsa. Everybody adored and raved about Marcelo Bielsa at Leeds. And they won the championship at a canter. And all the pundits were absolute Bielsa lovers. But even the Leeds fans who adored him, who wanted a statue, even they, by the end, were just like, he can't hack it at the top level. And what I'm wanting from Ange is for him to prove that he can hack it at the top level. And to do that, he needs to tweak it, so that even if we've got our best players out, I'm afraid, we can still win enough games. And the reality is we're in 13th place on 34 points, level with Everton and Man United and West Ham. So potentially in the next game or so, if we don't get results, we could be in 16th place in the league. Now, as much as I love Ange and as much as I want it to work for him, no other manager in Premier League history for Spurs has been as bad as that. And they've all had their injury problems. Some of them have had potential bankruptcy issues. Some of them have had all sorts of things to deal with. So I want it to work for him. I'm desperate for it to work for him, but he's fighting a difficult battle right now. However, on Thursday night, we got an amazing result, huge result. It was a good performance. And therefore, I feel actually, ironically, the pressure's a little bit off today. I think even though he's rotated the team, and I'll get into the team news in a second, I think an opportunity for Spurs to kind of pop it about a bit today. Sunny day in London, sunny afternoon. Fulham will try and pop it about a bit as well. Silva, the Fulham manager, he's supposedly on Spurs' list, so it'll be another audition for him. And I actually kind of think Tottenham might win today. We've got a very kind of mix and match team like we've had a lot of the season, because Ange is rightly, in my opinion, basically trying to protect players for that next round of the Europa League in about 3 weeks' time. But I think it could be a good game, and I think maybe we'll turn them over, but who knows? I could be wrong. Anyway, just a little bit of an impassioned rant from me there. Apologies. But make sure, most importantly, you give this video a like wherever you're watching it. Press subscribe if you're on YouTube to Chris's channel. That's at Chris Cowlin. Chris is at the game, so look out for live video. Sorry, not live, but look out for video updates on the channel throughout the evening after the game. And the post-match press conferences will be posted as well. Also, Chris will be back after this with the Spurs Chat podcast from 4:30. We'll be joined by Yar Wobble, Adrian Tizato, and Terry Kim. In terms of the itinerary for today, I'll be doing the watch-along, then I'll do an instant match reaction straight afterwards. Then it'll be the fan show where I speak to Spurs fans from all around the world. And if you want to get involved in a future fan show where you get to call in and speak to me after a game, email tottenhamfanchris@gmail.com. That's tottenhamfanchris@gmail.com, and Chris will sort it out. So let's get into that team news. They are actually in the tunnel as we speak. The team news is thus: Vicario in goal, Spence right back, Udogie comes in at left back, Romero starts again with Ben Davies. So a good bit of balance on the left-hand side, and obviously giving Mickey van der Ven a rest after his 60 minutes that he got in the week. Then Archie Gray, as a lot of people have been calling for, gets his first, by my reckoning, his first proper start in midfield for Spurs, alongside Bentancur and Basuma. So quite a functional midfield three, let's call that. And then Sonny gets a rest, so Tell comes in, gets an opportunity to play off the left. Solanke starts again. He's been doing a lot of running since he got injured, but I think Ange knows that we need his ability to hold the ball up in the 9. And then Brennan Johnson starts on the right. On the bench, Kinski, Porro, Van der Ven, Sarr, Bergvall, Maddison, Son, Odegaard, and Dane Scarlett. We're playing in our green away kit today. Fulham's team: Leno, Anderson, Bassi, Robinson, Castagna, Pereira, Berger, Iwobi, Smith Rowe, Willian, and Jimenez. On the bench: Reed, Muniz, Kearney, Traore, Cuenca, Bender, King, Ryan Sessegnon, and Godo. So, some other things that Tottenham have to fight against today. Tottenham have lost the last 5 matches in the Premier League that they have played before international breaks. It's a genuine curse. And also, I would suggest a bit dangerous of Ange to play Romero in this game before the international break, because I remember the last international break or two, each time he's played before, he's been absolute dross. Because he drops off about 10-15% because he doesn't want to get injured before his flight to Argentina. So a bit of a worry, that one. Also, I think worth talking about, I mentioned it being a functional midfield. For me, yes, I'm pleased we'll get a chance to see what Archie Gray can do in midfield. I'm intrigued to see how he does on the half turn, trying to get the ball off Vicario and off his centre-backs. But we need more from Bentancur and Basuma, who haven't played great recently. I'm hoping that Basuma's confidence might be up from that great goal line clearance that he did in the game in the week against RZ Alkmaar. Big opportunity for today for Matthias Tell, of course. Chance to play off the left. He's looked a little bit lost when he's played in the 9 position. And hopefully we can get to the ball to him with a little bit of space in front of him to run into. You've got to think that Fulham will try and come at us at least a bit, even though, you know, pretty much everyone in the Premier League knows now that the way to beat Spurs is to not go at them, really, and just defend, go in hard on them, get in their faces, and watch us fail. But hopefully Fulham will come at us, leave some space in behind for Tell and Johnson to run into. Spence will start at right back. Udogie, another chance since injury to show his freshness on the left. I would say Udogie is probably third choice fullback right now, so he's got to show some good form to get back into that side. Also, it is good, of course, we have a very strong bench today. I'd say our bench is a lot stronger than Fulham, so if we can stay in the game, getting into the kind of the 60, 65th minute, we can make some changes, bring some finishers on maybe. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments, guys. Am I wrong to think maybe that a little bit of pressure off today after that result in the week? Ange has rotated, and I don't think the fans will be that pissed off with him for rotating. I feel like I'm going to be quite calm about this game. I'm not saying I think we can win, we might win, but I don't feel like I'm going to be livid if we don't win today. Like I said, it's all or nothing really on the Europa League, isn't it? Pleased to see Ryan Sessegnon on the bench for Fulham. I feel so sorry for that kid, so talented, but just could not get on the pitch enough at Spurs. And hopefully we'll see him a little bit today as long as he doesn't score. As I said, need to make sure we keep Dominic Solanke fit as well as everybody else. Injuries would be the worst possible thing we could see today, but especially to the likes of Romero or Solanke. That would be a nightmare. So let's hope they can stay fit. And obviously worth probably mentioning there's likely to be an ex-Arsenal player script and Chelsea player script today with Smith Rowe, Iwobi, and Willian playing for Fulham. Seems to me that when that tends to happen, people who played for Arsenal, Chelsea tend to score against us. But hopefully, I'm just exaggerating it. Will Van der Ven get half an hour, I wonder, in the second half? That'll be interesting to see too. Let's go through some of what you've been saying in the comments, guys. Matt Lift says, shows how bad this season is. It's March and we've given up on trying to win league games and focusing on the Mickey Mouse Europa League Cup. It's not Mickey Mouse, mate. The winner of it gets into the Champions League. What the hell are you talking about? How can it be Mickey Mouse? Literally our only chance to get in the Champions League. Noel O'Dowd. Noel, I'll speak to you later, will I, maybe? Says, definitely pressure off Barnaby. 2-1 Spurs. Come on, you Spurs. Noel, I hope you're in the boozer, mate. I hope you're in the pub. I'm actually quite excited at the possibility that I might go and have a drink to watch the second half of that Carabao Cup final later on. Newcastle against Liverpool, and big game, isn't it, realistically? Although Newcastle, if they won, they would push Spurs to the top of the kind of laughing stock trophyless list. But I wouldn't mind seeing them win. Anyway, the game is kicked off. Spurs kicking from right to left. And I don't know how long the delay is, guys, but pause your screen wherever you are if you're on a delay so that we're all matched up. Early throw-in for Spurs with Udogie. So I'll just check if there's a stream that's a bit quicker. Oh, yeah, I've got one that's a bit quicker. So now I'm on about 45 seconds. Ben Davis plays it out wide to Tell. Good first touch. I have actually been impressed with Tell's touches so far this season. He's obviously got great close control, but I do feel he's been kind of in the wrong position playing in the 9. Certainly in the Premier League. It's not to say that he couldn't become a 9 in the Premier League, but I think when players come from different leagues, they get surprised at how quick and how physical it is. And therefore, I think wide left early doors for Tell is probably better. Brennan Johnson loses the ball early, and Fulham now pop it through midfield. Bentancur works hard to get back, and that is a Fulham throw. Good stuff from Bentancur working backwards there. Although once again, of course, he was miles ahead of the ball when we lost it, as Spurs' midfield loves to be. Really shows, doesn't it, how far Lucas Bergvall has come on this season, that he's getting a rest and a rotate. Spence, nice stuff on the right side there, gives it inside. And that is a foul on Bissouma, who drove forward well there, actually. Good start for Bissouma. Showing positivity through the centre midfield. Vicario gets out of his feet, plays a pretty horrible ball behind Ben Davis, but it's all right. Now Vicario outside his box, lays it into Gray, takes it on the half turn for the first time. Good scanning there from Archie Gray. That was good to see. Gives it out wide to Romero, who comes back to Vicario and who goes early to Ben Davis. Udogie giving him an inside pass, but it comes out wide to Tell. His first touch is good. And then he goes inside to Davis, who comes back to Tell. Tries to put his foot on it. Oh, and he's lost it, Tell. And Vicario needs to come and dive out. Oof, tell you what. It was just nicked off his feet, and it nearly went through to Raul Jimenez. But Vicario saved him. Spurs now. Jed Spence in the inside right position. Tight pitch at Craven Cottage. Oh, and good space for Bentancur. And tell you what, he's put it in down the right to Brennan Johnson. He's running at his fullback. Gets an early cross in Johnson. Good defending. That's where you want Brennan Johnson. In behind the fullback where he can open his legs. Spurs have started this game well. Like I said in my opening, I did wonder whether there'd be some confidence in the Spurs team with the pressure off a little bit. Tell now on the left-hand side. Comes in narrow. Looking for options. Udogie had run outside him, but he gives it to Bentancur now. He's on the left. Goes back to Tell. It's a pull out ball, though. And now Fulham are able to break, and they've got men running forward. It's 3-on-3 really here. And they're in down the right-hand side with Pereira. Really good opportunity. He's going to shoot early. He does, and it's just wide. Not a bad effort, to be honest. He kind of caressed it. Was that Tell who lost it again? No, it was a poor ball from Bentancur. And that is the problem with Spurs under Ange, isn't it? It's like it's just literally one pass ends up in a chance. Well, a good ball down the line to Solanke there, but Bassi gets ahead of him. Tottenham keep the ball with Ben Davies. Lays it across to Romero. It's not what you'd call a lovely ball from Romero into Jed Spence, who unfortunately just loses it, but manages to get it back. Well done, Jed. What I was going to say is it's not a kind of horrible atmosphere by any means at Craven Cottage. Oh, Solanke tries to win the ball back, but Fulham do well. 5 minutes gone. Two teams just trying to play some football at the moment, which is good. Bernd Leno, of course, also played for Arsenal. I forgot to mention that. So he'll be up for having a big game. And we're pressing all the way back to Leno now, who has to go long. That was good pressure from Spurs. Comes up into midfield. Ben Davies up for it against Jimenez, but Jimenez does well. And then Udogie makes the wrong choice in midfield, Udogie, and we've lost it easily. And then Romero dives in and does really well. And now Johnson's got some space to run into in midfield and tries to chip over the top to Tell, which was not the right decision, I didn't think. But anyway, Bentancur tries to head it round the corner to Tell, and that is a Fulham throw. Thought Johnson had a bit more time there. Instead, he tried a bit of a paradise crossfield chip to Tell. The thing I've been surprised about with Tell, I think I mentioned it in one of the interviews after the last game, he's not as quick as I thought he would be. But I wonder if that'll come as he gets more opportunity and space to run into. Oh, lovely first ball from Romero into Gray, who does super well in midfield there. Looked like he was going to lose it, but did brilliantly. And Romero's passing so far this game has been outstanding. Fortunately, Bentancur just tried to play it through to Solanke and it didn't quite come off. But Romero with the ball at his feet so far, absolutely magic. This has been a good start from Spurs, I'd say, with 6 minutes gone. But Fulham, with just a couple of passes now, a lot of space down the left side. They're going to get an early cross in. They know that Spurs struggle to defend crosses. Cleared by Ben Davies. Comes out to Smith Rowe. Will plays a good ball round the corner to Willian. And they're in the left, down the left again. Robinson has done well against Spurs in recent years. And here comes Willian, looking like he wanted to cross it, but no, goes to Smith Rowe. And they're just popping it about a bit now. And then they're in down the left very easily. And Spence does beautifully to cover that pass and see it off for a goal kick. Now Vicaria has the ball at his feet and he's being pressed quite hard. So he goes to Romero, who tries a dink into midfield. And it was a poor one. His first poor pass, Romero there. And Bentancur was caught a long way ahead of the ball. And he's got to work back a bit here, Bentancur. And he's not. He's just jogging as Fulham players are going past him into the box. And Willian has it out wide left. Now it comes out to the right-hand side with Castagna. Back to Iwobi. Castagna's run inside Tell, and this is a good chance for Fulham. And cleared at the front post from Ben Davies. That's the first time Fulham have got in behind Spurs. Tell didn't really want to run with his marker there. And that's Fulham's first corner. And Romero's having a good push off with Bassi now. And here it comes Willian to the back post. Looks like there's going to be a free header, and it was. And then it's cleared. Now it's come to the edge of the box. Udogie tried to press, and now they're going to get another free cross in here, Fulham. Cleared this time by Davies. And then pushed on by Udogie. And Tell now pushes up the pitch, and they go back to Leno. And Leno goes long over the top towards Spence, who clears the first header. And then a good touch from Bentancur back to Ben Davies. Goes inside to Archie Gray in the 6, turns away. Scott Parker-esque from Archie Gray there. Just playing it safe. Spence tries one over the top, but far too much on it, goes through to Leno. Don't mind that every so often, trying to mix it up. 9 minutes gone. Fulham try and play it through midfield, but Spurs win it back. Bentancur's got to be quick here. He holds it off well and lays it out to Udogie. His first touch was not good, but he keeps it on. But that lets Fulham back into their shape. Davis now has it. Goes to Romero. Comes back to Ben Davis. He tries the ball towards Solanke, but it's hits a Fulham player and rolls back to Leno, who's going to dink it to the fullback. Does that go off the pitch, though? Yes, it does. Spurs love to take absolutely ages over their throw-ins, but anyway, they've done it now to Ben Davis. He's going to go across to Romero. He's going to find Spence, wide right. Basuma's inside him. Here's Biss. Should be able to play it into... Oh, my God, Basuma's pass. Okay, we got away with it, thankfully, but very poor technique. Anyway, now Tell has a chance to run at his man here. First time I've seen a chance for him to open his legs. Comes narrow and tries an early cross. It's a good ball, actually, cleared from Fulham. It's interesting. We don't get many crosses in. I didn't mind that. Bentancur now has a chance outside the box. He could have got that down, but Bentancur tried to do an early header, weirdly. And then Udogie presses it, and that'll be a Fulham goal kick, I would have thought. Good to see Destiny Udogie fit again. And it's good that Touchwood got all of our fullbacks fit at the moment. Fulham, yeah, they're just talking on commentary about how Fulham have a good chance of qualifying for Europe this year. Oh, and they just played one nice ball into midfield there. That was good stuff from Fulham. Now they're breaking through midfield again. Oh, and then tell you what, they got themselves in a bit of trouble there, Fulham, but Spurs haven't managed to get the ball down. And Willian with a lovely back flick out to the wide man. Oh, good stuff. Good stuff. Solanke, chance. Solanke. Bentancur. Oh, Bentancur wasn't strong enough, and Spurs didn't take advantage of a chance there, but oh, that was a shame. Just we got a little toe in up the pitch. It just didn't quite fall for us to hit them right on the break. Yeah, it's a bit scrappy at the moment, but both teams are trying to play football. Castagna. Back to Berger. Oh, and Solanke nearly nicked off him, but he's got through him. And it's Anderson, sorry, and he's played a big old diag out wide right. Johnson is now working back, but it comes right to Robinson to get the cross in. It's a dinked cross. Archie Gray in a good position to clear it. Well done, Archie. Willian now. Back to Robinson. And he was offside there, Robinson. Poor work from him. But good work from the Spurs back line, keeping their line on the 18-yard box to catch him offside. Romero's going to leave this free kick for Vicario. Oh, and Hugh Grant is in attendance. Oh, Solanke working hard up front from that long ball, but beaten to it. But Archie Gray tries to play it to Spence, who does well down the right, Jed Spence. And now he's driving. He's driving forward. He's got Johnson around him, but Johnson kind of gets himself in a weird position too close to him, and it goes off for a throw-in. Robinson does well. Basuma does well in a tight space here. And he's driving towards the byline, but kicks it off. Oh, it's a corner. Well done, Biss. Good stuff. So, corner for Spurs. Romero, of course, has the captain's armband today. Gray is the one delivering the corner. Kind of Cleared at the front post. Basuma gets it back out to Gray, a little bit behind him. Iwobi's with him. So he tries an early ball, Gray, and it's a great early ball. And that's another corner for Spurs. Wow, Archie Gray on the corners. What a player. Is there anything he can't do? It was his first corner actually wasn't great, but then he got another chance to cross it, and it was a really good delivery. Caused a bit of panic in the box. I guess usually it would be Sonny or Maddison with the corners, wouldn't it? So another outswinger from Archie. Basuma's on the edge. Davis and Romero in the middle. Here it comes. A better delivery this time. Chance Bentancur, but flicks off the back of his head. And Solanke working hard to try and win it at the back post, but Fulham do well. And then a foul from Bentancur. It's a shame. He's working hard, Bentancur. Yeah, the ball was just a bit above Bentancur as he tried to win that header. Oh, and Fulham just playing themselves into a bit of a dodgy area there. Being pressed hard. Oh, and it just hits, I think, Bentancur's head and goes off for a goal kick. But Spurs pressing Fulham really high. It's been a good start. But also Fulham have got in behind once or twice down the flanks, which is obviously where always Tottenham struggle. Long ball from Fulham up towards Spence, wins the first header. Basuma gets the ball down but loses it. And Spurs are fortunate there because a bad touch from Fulham led to the ball being cleared. But Basuma, once again, a classic example. His first touch is good, the hardest touch. And then just when he should just do it easy, he takes too long on it and lost the ball. It just does seem like a bit of a mental thing with him, concentration. Fulham play it down the line. That's good stuff from Fulham into Jimenez. Oh, and then a sliding tackle from Romero catches Jimenez's Achilles by the looks of things. He runs away. Romero, trying not to be spotted. But just him telling his striker that he's there. Fulham now back to Leno. Into Bassi, who plays a decent ball around the corner when Johnson was pressing him. And now Robinson running forward. And Johnson's jogging a bit here. Could be working harder here, Johnson. Okay, seem to have got back into shape now. It comes to Pereira, who beats Tell quite easily there. And now Fulham have got numbers down wide. And it's across from Iwobi, and Davis is in a good position to clear it. Bassi now. Again, out wide to Willian. And they're in down the left here, Fulham, if they want to be. But he doesn't. He comes narrow, actually. But they're in now down the left. He's at the byline, Robinson. No one anywhere near him. Cuts it back. And Basuma deals with it well. And now Johnson cannot give the ball away here, but he wins a foul. And I'd say that's the third time that Fulham have got to the byline down their left and our right already. Davis into Tell. Tell turns well. That's probably the best bit of football he's done for Spurs so far, other than his goal against Villa. Lovely stuff down the line, but unfortunately he then makes the wrong decision and loses the ball. And Pereira does brilliantly to nick it off him and give it into Iwobi. But Tell works hard and put Iwobi under pressure there, and Iwobi's now gone down. And they've kicked it off the pitch as a result. But I think he's fine. Yeah, he's fine. 18 minutes gone, still 0-0. Bitty Sunday afternoon game. He is limping, Iwobi. But the game starts again. Tell is working hard, especially pressing-wise. And Fulham go long now, down the channel. First header won by Davis, and Basuma gives a very dodgy pass back to Vicario on the volley, and Vicario deals with it well. Romero with the header this time. Solanke gets up early, but Fulham get back control of the ball. Oh, and then a good ball in between the lines from Bassi, but Spence Sees it off and gives it inside to Basuma. Good stuff. Basuma now back to Spence. Gray was there, but he decided to go back to Romero instead. And Ben Davies now. I will tell you this, Gray is playing as a genuine 6. Like really in that position, just scanning right in front of Davies and Romero, and I don't mind that at all. Ben Davies now plays it inside to Doggy. Turns away and tries to play it down line to Tell, but that was preempted by Castagna, and good football from Fulham here. And actually, that's good defending from Christian Romero to cover what was a dangerous situation. Then Bentancur getting himself in more trouble. Plays it inside to Doggy, who plays a good ball back to Romero. And Romero and Davies just for a second have swapped. Johnson now plays it. Johnson, I don't think is flowing with confidence at the moment because he's making some bad decisions. Just lost the ball too easily there. He didn't need to. Anyway, Doggy's won it back off Iwobi, who gets it now. Bentancur gets it to Tell. He's got a bit of space to run into again. So he comes narrow between a couple of players. Tell's done brilliantly. He's in here, Tell. He's in. Can he cross it? He does. Oh, it was in front of Solanke. Brilliant from Tell. That's the best we've seen from Tell in a Spurs shirt. I love that. Spence has it on the right now. And we've lost it. I think Tell could have shot, you know. Spurs have won it high here, and Udogie has it on the left. And Spurs have the ball with Romero. This is a decent performance so far from Spurs. Romero into Davies, goes into Udogie, tries to go around the corner to Tell, and tell you what, Tell with a lovely little dummy, and Bentancur and Solanke didn't properly read it. If Solanke had read that, he might have been in, you know. But this was great. Tell driving at his fullback, comes narrow, and then goes the other way again. And I think he could have shot, but it got a little caught under his feet, and then his cross towards Solanke just in front of him. Udogie now. It's getting on the ball quite a lot, Destiny. Gives it into Tell's feet. Good first touch from Tell. Goes back to Ben Davies. I think the Spurs away fans will be pretty content with this so far. Romero gives it back to Ben Davies. Goes down the line to Tell, who plays nice inside to Bentancur. Goes to Destiny, who holds it up well, but then gives a horrible pass, unfortunately, and the Fulham have it with Iwobi, and they go inside to midfield. That's a shame from Spurs. Udogie not quite careful enough with it. It comes across to Robinson. They like getting the ball out wide as much as possible, Fulham. And now Iwobi has some space. And I knew he'd try and get across. It's going to be a free header. I'll tell you what. Spence pushed Jimenez there. 2 hands. The ref doesn't give anything. He went down quite easily, but Spence has got to be careful at the back post. But to be honest, it was that or a free header. So anyway, Fulham still have it. Another cross. Romero clears the first one this time. And Solanke did well. And now Basuma has to be careful. Gives a difficult pass to Spence. He's facing his own byline. And VAR are not going to overturn that. And then Spence does exactly the same and gets a push given against him outside the box, of course. It's a brilliant ball from Iwobi. But what Fulham really, what they've clearly analysed is they can get another early cross coming in now. If they can get those early crosses in, Spurs do struggle to defend them. Lovely touch from Solanke, though, into Tell. He's fronting up Bassi. And he loses it, but it should be a Spurs throw. Well, it's not been given to Spurs somehow. I don't know why There's two things weird with that penalty claim. One is, why did... Well, I mean, I guess if it would have been a free header if Spence hadn't put two hands on him. But then I don't think the two hands were enough for Jimenez to dive in the way he did. So it was all a bit weird. But anyway, Spurs kind of possibly got away with one there. Bentancur now into Gray. It goes back to Romero. Nice from Romero giving it into Gray, who pops it first time to Basuma, now out wide to Johnson, who tried to go down the line to Spence, but not for the first time today. Johnson's pass is not good enough. And now, good tackle there from Gray, wins it back for Spurs though. And now Johnson can drive, but he doesn't look like he's got much confidence. Does win a throw in there. Spurs on the right-hand side now, just in a little tight area. And Basuma, what a horrible pass. Deary me. So Fulham have it back with Leno, who goes long. Romero should have a free header here. He does. Heads it to Bentancur. Oh, lovely flick round the corner from Bentancur to Johnson, who I knew was going to lose the ball straight away, and he did. Very disappointing start to this game from Brennan, I'm afraid. But hopefully he can pop up at the back stick at some point. But now Fulham are coming forward and Brennan's just jogging back. That's what I hate the most about Johnson, is sometimes he just kind of jogs back rather than working as hard as he needs to. Well, Pereira did brilliantly in midfield there and wins a free kick. He was just wanted it a bit more, and Archie Gray came in a bit late. This will be a chance for Fulham to get the ball into the box. Gray didn't get any contact on the Fulham player there, but I guess the free kick kind of gets given because Gray was going in strongly on him and Pereira had to jump out the way. Pereira will take the free kick. It's quite central. It's too far out for a shot, but it'd be interesting to see whether they, you'd think they're going to try and ding it to the back stick to win a first header and try and, score off some scraps from the second. He has got a two-man wall for him. It seems too far out for a shot, surely, even for a Brazilian like Pereira. Here we go. He's going to dink it to the far post, where Spurs haven't marked Castagna at all. Totally embarrassing, but they win the second header. But Fulham now still around the box. That was very weird how he just chose not to get anyone near. It's like, I guess it's not. I guess that's what zonal marking is. Oh, it's yeah, they've just tried a deep cross there, but it's going to go all the way off. The zonal marking mean basically, they stay in their zones in the center of the box and always allow anyone at the back stick to get a free header or shot. And funnily enough, that's why we've conceded so many goals at the back post this season. Anyway, Spurs go long and lose the ball straight away. Archie Gray challenging Pereira, and Pereira does really well. Really well. Oh, and good defending from Romero there. And he plays a nice ball through midfield, but Bentancur couldn't hold it. Oh, and then everyone just diving in, Romero included. But he's getting back in position now as Fulham pop it about midfield. Oh, good ball through midfield into Jimenez's feet by Fulham, but he holds it up and brings it back to Bassi. And then just one pass, two passes straight through midfield. And Johnson again jogging as they get in down the left-hand side. And now Willian will want to get on his right foot and get a cross in, you would have thought. Facing up Spence and Johnson. Bassi. Okay, and they bring it all the way across to the right-hand side. Iwobi does well, but Bentancur gets a foot in nicely and then gives a horrible pass to Doggy, who then goes inside to Ben Davis, who plays a great ball to Bentancur. Can he give a 1-2 there to Solanke? Solanke holds it up well, but then he loses the ball. Very rare for Solanke, and they could be in down the left here. Willian now at Romero. Romero fouls him on the edge of the box, but no. The referee says it was a dive. And then Romero's trying something over the top of the left. That was a bit of a paradise ball towards Tell, and Fulham get it back. And Spurs have pressed Fulham. No, and then Bentancur came from an offside position there. That was naive. And Romero's having a go at Willian for diving. Yeah, I think Romero really got away with one there. Anyway, Fulham go long over the top. On Jimenez wins it well against Ben Davis, and Iwobi helps him out. And again, they're bringing it down the left-hand side here. And Robinson is facing up Jed Spence. Good body position from Spence makes Robinson go backwards. But this time Robinson is in at the byline. And he's now in the box. Big chance for Fulham here. Bad touch from Jimenez. And now they're on the edge of the box. Big shot coming in. Deflected. That will be a corner. Ended up with Anderson, the centre-half, with the shot. Willian still complaining about how his dive wasn't given as a foul, but now he's running out to take this corner. Silva, the Fulham manager, unhappy on the sidelines about that foul not having been given. Now Willian's going to take the outswinging corner. Here it comes. Back post again. Spence clears the first one well. Pereira on the volley. It's a great strike, but cleared well by the Spurs defender. I think might have been Romero, but I'm not sure. Oh, Robinson tries a ball down the line. Oh, and then Spence got ahead of Bassi, but Bassi did really well, just showing his strength against two Spurs players there. He did have a bit of a dodgy game against Spurs beginning of last season, but last couple of times I've seen him against us, he's improved for sure. And some good football takes them out wide right. And a good block from Udogie stops across. Fulham throw, and Tottenham turn off a little bit, but Bentancur does well. Udogie now plays it down the line to lovely take on the half turn from Solanke, but he's just bustled off the ball by Anderson. It might have been Berger, not sure. Very similar players, the centre back and the centre half, and the centre midfielder. Sorry, Bassi now being pressed by Tell. And Leno comes across now to Anderson, who does really nicely. And then he plays the big old Alderweireld diag. But Spence wins the first one, gets it out for throwing. Good defending from Jed. Oh, and actually Bassi at one point there, I've just shown a replay, threw Romero onto the ground. Great defending from him. Now Fulham in down the left again. And here it is with Robinson. This is the danger every time. And it's defended well at the front post, I think, by Romero, and goes out for a Fulham throw. Oh, no, and then Romero's just fallen on the floor. Is he injured? Can you fucking believe this? Dear. Romero is down on the ground. Looks like a muscle injury. What a surprise. And what does he do? It's because he stretches at the front post and actually defends well. Do you know what? It might be his thigh, because he ends up kind of stretching towards with his thigh and the ball comes off his thigh. He did have a thigh injury before. It was good defending. He stood up. Hopefully it was more of a shock. But we've got to be careful with him. Oh, Bassi really confident on the ball. Just tries the Cruyff turn there. Oh, and Fulham play a lovely ball into midfield to Jimenez. And now Iwobi on the right with a chance to get a cross in again. But he's not. He's going to drive at Udogie. Okay. Oh, no. Terrible from Spurs. Ben Davis got away with one there. A cross was going straight through. Is it a cross? Yeah, a cross from Iwobi was going straight through to Vicario, but Davis puts a foot on it and therefore just gifts a free shot. And thankfully, it goes straight at Vic. It was Castagna with a shot. Lucky from Spurs. Spurs are losing the ball too often, but that was beautiful on the right-hand side. Oh no, Archie Gray's taken a bad touch. And that's what we've been talking about, is we haven't had any evidence so far of Gray playing in that six-way. He's got to do it very quickly with the game not all ahead of him like it is when he's playing at centre-back. And he tried to take it on the half-turn to come across the pitch, and he just took a bad touch. And it nearly led to a Fulham chance. That was Gray's first mistake of the game. Can happen to anyone, though, and he's just a kid. He'll learn from it. Yeah, Fulham are having a good spell here, last 10, 15 minutes. Popping it about nicely. But there, Doggy did well, nearly nicks it off Iwobi. But Fulham keep it. 35 minutes gone. Oh, and good turn in midfield, I think, from Berger. Fouled by Bentancur. Fulham just playing with a bit of energy now. Too easy coming through the centre of midfield. Deary me. And now Smith Rowe is going to get it out wide right to Willian. Fronting up Spence. Gets it back to Robinson then. And it goes back to Willian. And Robinson again at the byline. Deary me. We get away with it again. And then Solanke wins a free kick, which the Fulham are very angry about. But that is probably the 5th time in this game that they've got to the left-hand byline. So, and I'll tell you why it is. It's not because it's Jed Spence playing right back. And it's not even as simple as saying that when Porro plays there, it's because of him. It's because they are, I think, in my opinion, told by the manager not to get help. Basically, he tells the wide forward, Brennan Johnson, not to help them in those positions. And therefore, it's really easy for the fullbacks for our opposition to get to the byline. It happens time and time again. It's too obvious. It's weird. And that's why I get so frustrated when I say Johnson just jogging back. I think it's because Ange tells him, you don't have to work hard getting back too much because we'll take our chances. Well, that's where I think it's weird, because we've conceded so many goals that way. Fulham have not been clinical so far, though. No, fortunate with that. Archie Gray does well there. Wins it and pops it inside to Bissouma. Comes back to Ben Davis. Goes down the line to Tell. Lovely first time ball to Udogie, who loses it back to Tell. And now Fulham are through, but Romero in a good position. Not through, sorry, but just with one pass. They were trying to play it through to Jimenez, I think it was. Fulham on top during this period. Spurs have really dropped off in the last 15 minutes. Oh, bad touch in midfield from Fulham, though. And here, a chance going through. What? He's just given a foul. I don't think it was. I think he's leveled that up because the one he gave against for Solanke a second ago. Didn't see anything in that, but the ref has given a foul when Spurs were on transition. Because it's a bad touch from Jimenez. Oh, okay, Solanke does stand on Jimenez's foot. Fair enough. So a free kick inside the Spurs half. Fulham will get players forward again. They take it short to Willian, who gets it out wide left, which is what Fulham are looking to do all the time now. Pereira, bit of a bad pass. So it comes back to Robinson on the halfway line and gives it outside him to Iwobi. Tell working hard, but can't quite get a foot in. And then he does win it back now. And he gives it back to Ben Davis. He's got Bissouma with him. Bissouma about to be pressed, so he's got to be careful. Gives it into Udogie. He's just driving forward here into some space, Destiny. But loses it to Pereira. Fulham are battling well in midfield. And Udogie's lost the ball a few times in the last few minutes. 40 minutes gone now. Spurs need to try and stay strong before half-time. Otherwise, if they concede it before half-time, I feel like you can almost bet your bottom dollar they will then concede quite soon after half-time, and that'll be the game. And then they play the big diag over Jed Spence, but Jed Spence wins the first one. Throw in now. Willian takes it quickly to Berger. A lot of space in midfield for him. And they're in down the left again. Smith Rowe cuts it back. Oh, too easy. But in the end, it comes all the way back to Vicario. Oh, and then Basuma just kicks the ball off the pitch. Need to make it into half-time here. Oh, they tried the big old diag there, but then Archie Gray not quite strong enough in the 6 role. Smith Rowe nicks it off him, and now Fulham are in down the right-hand side. Iwobi does well, cuts inside, brings it back to Berger. Comes back to Iwobi. Oh, double step over, gets him into the box. He's appealing for a handball, but it was right next to them, and that's going to be a corner. Spurs under the cosh at the moment. It is a hand. It is a hand, but it was by his body, and it's actually flicked off his own man onto his arm. There's nothing you can do about that. And this will be a corner again. Will they go for the back post again like they have done all day? Andreas Pereira with the corner. It's going to be an outswinger. Free header cleared. Solanke clears it in front of Vicario. And they play the big diag back to the corner take. It's a beautiful pass, and Pereira's in a good position. Flicks up to the back post, and then, oh, what has Vicario done? Oh, dearie me. Spence helps him out, but Tottenham under pressure here, big time. They're in down the left here again. Willian. Berger. It's Willian against Johnson. And now a free cross for Robinson. Cleared at the near post by Romero, but goes straight back out to Robinson. Bassi, Smith Rowe, Fulham just popping it about, and in down the left again. Too easy. Cuts it back. It's another corner. Another corner. This will be an in-swinger, you would have thought. They've got quite a big side, Fulham, actually. In the box. Lots of big boys in the box. Here comes the in-swing. Goes to the near post. Cleared well by Solanke. Really strong from him. Comes out to Smith Rowe. Tell is pressing them. Smith Rowe gets it back again on the left. And then they're in down the left again with Willian. Udoggy's out there for some reason. Guess because there'd just been a corner. And now Solanke going to challenge Berger. Fulham have the ball back in the centre circle. There'll be 1 minute added. Willian just popping it about. And now they get a crossfield ball over. And it's a free header. Jimenez with a volley, well blocked by Ben Davis. Now, can Tell get this down? He's not going to be able to, I doubt. Oh, he does well, actually. Really well. And then Bentancur loses the ball, but gets lucky. Comes now to Spence. They've swapped over for a second, Udogie and Spence, and Spence now driving forward. And he should get a foul there, but he doesn't. Oh, and then Gray comes in and isn't quite strong enough against Iwobi. And then he gets a good foot in Archie Gray. Really good. And Spence wins it back. Tell. Into Bentancur. He gives a bit of a dodgy ball to Basuma, but Basuma deals with it okay. Finds Romero. He's trying to get people to calm down. Gives it into Bentancur's feet. Goes back to Romero. And does the same. And the same again. And this time he goes inside to Basuma and back to Romero. And Fulham's press is no deeper. They don't come any deeper than kind of centre circle. Bentaker finds Ben Davis. Out to Tell, who's wide. Plays it around the corner to Spence. Holds it up well. Really well. And then is fouled. That's good from Spence. That's interesting, though. Last couple of minutes, they've swapped Spence and Udogie. %61% possession in this game to Fulham. Wow. Only one attempt on goal from Spurs in this half. Yeah, they haven't been great. I thought they started okay. So Archie Gray tries to dink the free kick up towards the back post, which I could see behind him that all the coaching staff. Oh, Ben Davis has just rolled back the years. Gets a cross in. Oh, Ben Davis beat his man on the right-hand side there. It was weird. Oh, get off. Oh my God, he just threw himself to the floor, Raul Jimenez. He's embarrassing. 30 seconds left of this first half. Not a lot to talk about, to say the least. It's been dross, really, but... So quite regularly, Ange Postecoglou hooks people off at half-time, doesn't he? I wonder who he'll hook off today. We're at the end of the added 1 minute. And that is half-time. So, not a great deal to cheer about, I'd say, other than probably the fact that we're still 0-0 down. It's been, I mean, I guess not a surprise, a very bitty performance from a very bitty Tottenham team, really. He's rested a number of players. The biggest scare, other than the numerous times that Fulham have gotten down our right-hand side and got to the byline, the biggest scare is that Romero went down clutching what looked like his kind of thigh or his hamstring. But he has played on since then. I just severely hope that he's not playing on because he's trying to be the strong man. And if I were Big Ange Postecoglou, I'd be tempted to take him off at half-time. And maybe that was something that they agreed anyway. Who knows? What I will say is nearly 3,000 of you watching concurrently now at the moment, guys. Thank you so much for your support. If you haven't already, please do press like on this video. Please do make sure you subscribe to Chris Cowlin's channel. That's at Chris Cowlin. And give my channel a little subscribe to at Barnaby Slater _ for daily Tottenham content. So let's talk about what happened in that half. Good start for Bissouma. I made a note in the first minute, started positively driving through midfield. Tell in the second minute nearly gifted a one-on-one to Jimenez when he was about to try and play a ball back to Vicario, and the Fulham defender just got a nick in and it nearly went to Jimenez, but Vicario dived at his feet. Johnson had his best moment of the half in which he's actually been poor. In the third minute, he was in down the right and got an early cross in, but it was easily cleared. Fourth minute, poor ball from Bentaker ended with Pereira shooting just wide. Yeah, it was poor from Bentaker, but we were kind of on the attack. And then just as is always the way with Spurs, it really just took one run straight down the side of the pitch or down the middle of the pitch from Pereira, got all the way towards the box and then just hit it wide. I have made a note, though, in the 6th minute saying it was a decent start from Spurs, some good defending from Spence, seeing where the danger was down his channel, but he's been faced with endless attacks down the right. 7th minute, Fulham got in down the right-hand side. Tell had lost his man, but the cross was cleared by Davis. Ben Davis has done some really good work this half. Good positioning, getting some good clearances in. 13th minute, Bissouma did well to drive into the box and win a corner. I wrote that Gray has started pretty well in the sixth role, but that it's been a scrappy game so far. Archie Gray has taken the corners for us so far, by the way. 17th minute, Fulham getting down our right far too easily. Robinson getting to the byline 3 times so far. That was in the 17th minute, and there have been at least another 3 times since then. Then in the 20th minute, probably our best bit of work. Amazing from Tell as he beat 2 or 3 players from the left-hand side, broke into the box. He's on the inside left channel in the box. I wondered if he could have, put it this way. If it was Harry Kane in that position, he would have shot with his left foot into the far right-hand corner. But Tell didn't look confident on his left foot, so he tries to put a cross in for Solanke, and it's just ahead of him. But that was great stuff from Tell. He's had some, his touch has been sound so far this half. 23rd minute, Spence pushed Jimenez in the box. A cross came in. Jimenez had a free header, really. And Spence took a chance. He put 2 hands on him, and I think Jimenez basically cost himself a free header there because there wasn't enough on him to make him dive the way he did. And if he'd just kind of been a bit stronger, I think he would have had a free header on goal. Probably not quite enough in it for it to be a penalty, but for sure Spence needed to be a bit careful there. 25th minute, I've written Brennan Johnson looking short of confidence with the ball. Archie Gray won a good tackle to win the ball back then. 29th minute is the start, really, of Fulham's domination, I'd say. They'd had a decent 5 minutes from the 25th minute onwards. Then 32nd minute is when Romero went down, injured after some good defending at the near post. He tried to run it off after that. 33rd minute, Spurs got away with one across that Davis could have really just left for Vicario. Maybe Vicario didn't shout loud enough. So Davis gets something on the cross, and it comes straight out for a free shot, I think from Castagna, but he didn't get his left foot really through it enough, and it was easily saved by Vicario. Pretty lucky there. 36th minute, I've written the 5th or 6th time Fulham have got to the byline on their left, our right. 39th minute, Fulham in down the left again. They should score, but they didn't. And I've just made a note that Basuma and Udogie's passing has been pretty poor. 42nd minute, I made a note that Fulham have been all over Spurs for the last 15 minutes. 44th minute, last couple of minutes, Spence and Udogie swapped, actually, from right back to left back. There'd been 61% possession in this half of Fulham, so they've been on top. And that, really, I'm afraid to say, has been that. Let me take you through once again what the itinerary of today will be. I'll do the watch along for the second half. Before that, obviously, I'll get into the comments and we'll be talking about Spurs a little bit during this halftime break. Then I'll do a post-match reaction after the game. Then it will be the Spurs chat. What is it called? The talk element of this show, where people call in from around the world to talk to me after the game. If you want to be part of that for a future game, drop Chris Cowlin an email, tottenhamfanchris@gmail.com. That's tottenhamfanchris@gmail.com. And then after that, the Spurs chat podcast with Chris will be back at 4:30, where he'll be joined by Jar Wobble, Adrian Tisato, and Terry Kim. So, yeah, not the best half, but maybe not unexpected all in all. I'll get into the comments. Das Birdie says, no width with the ball. Mace 106 says, shit show from us again. Can't understand how people still want Ange in charge. Pat says, Barnaby, watch the match on ESPN. Your commentary will not be 2 minutes late. I don't have ESPN, so I can't, unfortunately. But sorry for the delay. But if you can pause yourself, I appreciate that. Appreciate you staying with me. Jack Legros has 14 league defeats to date, and we're facing another one without a massive improvement. Size and going to go well says, even if we win the Europa League, I want Ange sacked. Krill saying, no one in the midfield making a run forward. Biss has some brilliant defensive work, but looks confused off the ball. Well, I did say in my opening today that midfield looks functional at best. In fact, Bentancur is the furthest forward of those three. And, you know, he's quite good attacking set pieces, isn't he, Bentancur, with his head? But I don't remember the last time I had him, I saw him take a shot from long distance or anything like that. Richard Jones says, Johnson looks slow, sloppy passes by all. TSOM saying they produce nothing either. Both teams playing very low quality football. Yeah, it has been poor, but Fulham have got in down the left time and time again, and any better team would frankly ruin us from those kind of positions at the byline. Sean says, we put out a weak side, and although they've made lots of runs at us, we've taken care of it all. Yeah, I guess so. Mark says, Tell needs game time. Everything will seem ultra fast. Yeah. D Book of Love says, looks like another defeat. Mace 106 again, making another team look great. And Paul Hill says, at least it's 0-0. That's all I can say about the first half. Jack said, too many of our games are nothing games. That's the problem. Patch says, it's about giving Van der Ven match sharpness, giving Biss a challenge and rewarding Odebear. And yeah, Mace says, Ange out, sick of this shit show. Now, listen, like I said, it's all about the Europa League now. He is going to continue, and I think he should continue to play mix and match teams in the Premier League. But yeah, it's just that I have to say I'm surprised a little bit the total lack of creativity, but maybe that's because, he's resting Maddison, and of course, Deki Kulusevski is injured still and certainly will be until after the international break. Harry Brooks on Twitter, or X, who is a really great young football coach. He says this: Spurs need more players in the inside channels ahead of the ball. To play this way, you need the fullbacks to either go back to what they were doing at the beginning of Ange, often playing in 10s, move the wide players inside, or two of the 8s higher with at least one fullback tucking in deeper to maintain central compactness. There's simply not enough depth in the final third. It makes it feel Spurs have far too much ground to cover to reach Fulham's goal, unless someone goes on a long ball carry, which Tell did once. Alistair Gold says, Yves Basuma has been dreadful in possession so far when Spurs have been moving up the pitch. Panicked passes, either too powerful, misplaced, or putting teammates under pressure. And And Harry Scarf, who's a good kid, said Basuma has been poor in the first half. One of his worst performances in a Spurs shirt, really let his teammates down on several occasions. He has to come off at half-time. Wrong selection from Ange. Bentaker and Gray are doing better. Well, he's hooked Basuma off at half-time, I think, in the last few games he started. And maybe that's why Basuma's not playing well. Because maybe he's just like, I know I'm going to get hooked. I've fallen out with the manager, etc., etc. Yeah. Listen, it's not been great, has it? Let's have a little look what the scores are in the other games. Arsenal leading Chelsea 1-0. I guess not a huge surprise because Arsenal have had a bit of an uplift recently. It's Marino, the fake striker, and Chelsea have been on a bad run, haven't they? I wonder how bad Chelsea's run would actually have to be for Maresca to be in danger. CSJ in the comments says, who's going to score with this lineup? Yeah, very good question. Like I said, I did say at the beginning of the game, I think a lot of this today will be about Spurs trying to stay in the game till about 60, 65 minutes and then maybe bring on some of the finishers. And that's when more creativity would come on the pitch, the likes of Maddison, the likes of Porro, even Van der Ven, if he came on for 20, 25 minutes with the ability to use his pace to beat the first line of the press, might then enable more space in midfield. So let's see what happens. Peace and World says Maddison and Bergvall. And I don't know if that's what you're asking for or whether that's what is already happening. Gardu says this midfield was set up to protect Archie from having to overly manage both phases, progression and defensive transitions. Basuma and Bentaker towards the end had to support him deeper as Spurs solidity grade a bit. Tim Langford says, I suppose I'm in the minority, but the side Ange rolled out today is not that weak. Rather, it shouldn't be. If it's truly weak, we have a lot of work to do in the summer. Henry says, not a terrible effort. We'll come out and win the second half with a few good subs. Yeah, possibly. Jack says, instead of trying to just stay in games, why don't we go out and try and win games? I think the reality is it's a mix and match side, isn't it? So it's what I would call like a classic old school Europa League side where you play kind of 5 or 6 of your first choice and then 5 or 6 of the others. And there's very rarely any rhythm. And that's what's happening today, isn't it? Let me know if you agree in the comments, but there's just no rhythm. And that's why some of the passing, the players kind of almost don't know where they're going to be. And that's why a few times we've seen us kind of even pass it straight off the pitch at times. The thing is, look, it's ugly. And a lot of what we've watched of Spurs over the last 6 months or 4 or 5 months has been ugly. But the difference is now, actually, I just care a lot less about this today because I'm just so pleased we're still in that European game. And I just want him, like I've said for a while now, wrap those players in cotton wool for that Frankfurt game. Because we saw against AZ that when we've got our best team out, we play 30% better than we do in games like this. Lee Baker says, I support the rotation, but just no fluidity. I agree. And that's why I'm not shouting and screaming like I was against AZ on Thursday night, where if any of you who were watching, I went absolutely spare when he took off Van der Ven. And of course, in hindsight, it looks like the right decision because Van der Ven's still fit and we went through, but it was very dangerous. Yedai says, do you think Son will come on next? I think Tell needs minutes, like proper minutes. So I kind of hope he gets the whole game. And I think he's shown some good touches and some good moments. He's certainly done better or as well as anyone else, I think, really. Wes Wheel says, it makes sense to give players game time and also see how Spence does on the right versus on the left as he's been recently. Mace 106 says, can't understand why he's not started Maddison with international break next. Yeah, it's an interesting point. I just don't, the way that he doesn't play matters for longer than like 70 minutes and certainly not 2 games in a week makes me think that basically he doesn't trust, Ange doesn't trust Maddison's body, really. He doesn't trust him to be able to do it. But yes, I know whoever wrote, why do we have to just keep staying in games? Why can't we try and win them? At the moment, I think this is the best we can do. And so I'm hoping we can stay in this game at 0-0 until about 60, 65 minutes. And then bring Madders on, bring Porro on, and a few others. Elijah says these look like a bunch of amateurs. Jack says Levy should be providing free season tickets to justify this mess on the pitch. And Wes Wheel says, yeah, agreed, Tell needs game time. If we're thinking of buying him, it'd be good to have some more reasons to do so. One thing that I've said it, but I'll kind of go into it a bit more. I think you can tell from Tell's first touch, if you excuse the pun, kind of pretty elite first touch, really good with the ball, pretty tight to him. And then just that little bit we saw where he ran at the defenders and made the right decisions. Shows what a danger he could be. Looks like an interesting player for sure. TSOM says, Premier League is over. We're playing like we have nothing to play for. Makes sense to rest players when the only games that matter in Europe. Yeah. I mean, I guess it's the equivalent of being on the beach. But usually they talk about players being on the beach like last game of the season, but we're talking about with 2 months left. Here are some stats. Big chances created, none. Total shots, 1. Keeper saves, 1. Touches in the opposition penalty area, 3. Interceptions, 5. Possession, 40%. So not great. Ricky Sachs, who hosts the Last Word at Spurs, has tweeted, genuinely, I love this football club so much, and I love Last Word at Spurs, but my summer holiday cannot come quick enough. This season has aged me 20 years. Deary me. I think you're worrying too much about today's game. Okay, so Alistair Gold says Lucas Bergvall is coming on in the second half. You've got to think, haven't you, that will be for Bissouma, realistically. And probably the right decision. Randin says, Barnaby, if you could bring one player in the summer transfer window, which player would you bring? Or in general, where would you strengthen team midfield, attack, wingers? Midfield for me, central midfield, and someone who, an Eze, someone who just takes care of the ball and can do something a bit out of the blue. That's where I'd go. So Bergvall coming on now. Sonny looks like he's coming on as well. Yeah. Let's see who that's for then. My guess would be for Bissouma. And, well, Tell maybe. No, Johnson, you'd think. Can he move Tell to the right? It should be for Johnson over Tell for sure. How do you feel about it when Ange makes these subs at halftime? Do you feel like that is, you know, him showing that he's ruthless? Or do you think it's him showing that he gets his team selection wrong too often? Let me know what you think in the comments. Just trying to work out who they're coming on for. Yeah, Bissouma. So it's Bergvall for Bissouma. And Son for, I'm hoping it's going to say number 22. Yeah, Tell's still on the pitch, so it's going to be Johnson, surely. And it is Son for Johnson. So will Son start on the right in the second half, or will it be Matthias Tell? Be interesting to see. Okay, looking like we're just kicking off now, guys. So if you can pause your play until then. And here we go for the early long ball from the kickoff up towards Solanke, easily beaten in the air by Bassi. But then, brilliant, actually. Brilliant from Bergvall. Straight in, and that's an early corner for Spurs. Bergvall won ahead. He's so good in the air, Bergvall, for such a small kid. Read a really good, or saw a really good little interview with Ange this week where he talked about how Bergvall basically hasn't left Kulusevski's side since he joined the club, and therefore, because Kulusevski loves to be in the gym so much, Bergvall is as well, and that's why he's filled out a little bit. He loves a tackle as well, Bergvall. Anyway, Sonny taking this first corner, out swinger. Come on, Bentancur, let's get you a goal. Here it comes from Sonny. It's a good delivery. Oh, and it was Bentancur up, you know. That looks like it's going to be another corner. That was a good delivery. So here comes Son with the next corner. Another good delivery. Cleared at the front post. Comes back out to Son, though. First touch is all right. Cuts inside onto his left. He's in the box here, Son. Whack it, Sonny. Cuts it back. Wrong decision from Son to cut it back to Bentancur on the edge of the box there. I thought he could have just... He was pretty much in at the byline. If he just whacked it hard across the front of the box, could have got an own goal or something. Anyway, Bergvall has it on the left. Lays it out to Sonny. Sonny puts Bentancur in behind, but he has to turn away. Spurs starting with a little bit more tempo. Davis lays it across back to Vicario now. He's going to try a dinked ball, is he? No, he goes across to Spence in the right back position. And he's being pushed back all the way to Vicario here. This isn't great for Spurs. and he put a horrible ball into Spence, who deals with it on the half turn beautifully and gets away from Willian and shows his pace, and then gives it into Bergvall. How's your first touch? Brilliant from Bergvall inside. Jed Spence there, brilliant. Oh, and then Bergvall did the hard thing, but then won it back. Well done. And now we're in down the left with Sonny. He's got Bentancur outside him and Spence outside him. No, it's Udogie, sorry, outside him. He slows it up. Bergvall there did the hard bit brilliantly and then made a wrong decision, but then scrapped inside to win it back. Fulham throw it inside to Bassi. Solanke's pressing him. Tell then pressing Robinson, so he has to go long. We win the first one in midfield with Romero. Oh, and they tried to flick it back all the way to Leno, and it eventually gets there, just from Solanke. Ben Davis just pressed Jimenez all the way back to his own 18-yard box. And as a result, they've brought it forward. They're wildly out position. Oh, bad tackle from Bergvall there. Gets away with it. Now Fulham putting their foot on the ball for the first time. Dink it over the top of Spence. Got 3 men around Robinson then, and none of them got it. And Robinson gets his cross in. Spurs so lucky there. So lucky. Oh, dear. And then Tell just gives it away very easily. That was bananas. All three of them, including Romero, went to the ball, and Robinson beat them all and got a cross in. And now Smith Rowe, and they're going to be in down the left here again. Oh, but he plays the wrong decision ball, and Gray helps him out, and now Bentancur drives forward and plays it out to Udogie. Good ball. And now Udogie to Son, and Udogie's making a secondary run here. But Son has to bring it back to Bentancur, who gives it to Gray. Game opening up a little bit. Bergvall. Bentancur goes backwards again. Son into Udogie. Dummies it to Bentancur, who plays it to Archie Gray. Spurs just trying to pop it about, make some spaces here, but Udogie drives. It was a bit of a half-hearted drive forward with the ball, and he lost it so easy to Jimenez, who's a striker. Shouldn't really be that easy to win it back. Comes to Leno. Bit more intensity from Spurs this half so far. Davis. Oh, Jimenez wins it from Davis. And now they're in down the left. Willian fronting up. Jed Spence getting into the box here. He's going to want to cut inside. You know he is. He wants the shot desperately, and he gets it, and that will be a corner. Blocked by a Spurs defender. And in the end, the block is from Gray, I think. And it's a corner to Fulham. I do think that whoever scores the first goal in this game will probably win it. It feels like one of those games. It's going to be an in-swinger from Pereira. Here it comes. Comes all the way across. Shot at the edge of the box. Flailed over the bar from Smith Rowe. He just kind of, it was on his swinger, leans back, piles over the bar. Jed Spence now is fouled. Romero is going to have the free kick here. And they're already getting Maddison to get ready. Good. Yeah, Madders is going to come on. We need some creativity, that's for sure. Romero still standing over this free kick. Gives it short to Spence. Goes back to Romero. Being pressed by Jimenez. It turns away. Goes back to Vicario. He's going to need an option here. Needs to go. Oh, lovely turn from Spence, and that's a foul. Oh, how is the ref not given a foul there? Romero against Jimenez. Only one winner there, mate. And then Romero chips it into Gray, is it? Brilliant from Archie Gray. Absolutely brilliant from Gray. Driving out of the box, then plays a crossfield ball to Son. to keep Spurs on the ball. Davis to Romero. Davis gets it back. Out to Doggy. Back to Davis. And back to Vicario. Now he's going to need an option here. Now he can give it to Davis because he's drawn the Fulham press. That was good. Davis goes first time down the line. Good football from Spurs through the line. That's Ange ball. Now Bentancur to Bergvall. Bergvall through central midfield. And he's got Tell outside him. He's a bit narrow though, Tell. And so Bergvall tries to cross himself. Chance Solanke wide. Best football of the game from Spurs. Brilliant football. Oh, it would have been an amazing goal. That is the first. It feels like the first chance we've made Solanke a good chance for months. That was lovely to watch. Oh, and Spurs have won it high again with Bentancur, but the second touch was not great, unfortunately. But he does well. Son, now they just keep the ball. No, and they don't. But then he wins a foul. Well done. Well done, Bentancur. He's holding his ankle. Looks sore. I think he'll be all right. Chance for Spurs to whip this towards the box, maybe make a chance. So Sonny's going to whip this towards the box. Oh. It was a very deep header. Again, I think Solanke just wide. Great effort. Oh. Spurs have certainly improved the second half so far, but will we get hit with a sucker punch? Oh, Romero running forward. Oh, good defending. But we've got it now on the left with Udogie. He needs to start playing his way into this game. Gives it back to Bentancur. Bergvall gives him an option. Bergvall goes down the line to Son. Udogie runs offside. So Son comes backwards to Bentancur. And then Bentancur turns. Udogie down the line. Gives it to Son. Poor pass, but Son deals with it okay. And again, Spurs trying to turn narrow all the time. Archie Gray gives him a good option now. He's breaking forward from the centre circle and gives it out wide right to Tell. Hasn't really been in the game since he's been on the right-hand side so far. Bergvall to Spence. Spurs keep it. Archie Gray lays it across to Ben Davis. And a good ball from Davis to Udogie. His first touch was horrible, but then the second one is better, and he's driving into the box now. His third one is bad too, but he gets to the byline. Tries the cross, and Tell wasn't there at the back post. But he keeps it on the pitch. That was good stuff from Spurs. Now Tell driving. Gives it into Bergvall. Oh, lovely first touch from Bergvall. Then he dives on the floor. Definitely wasn't a foul. And then Romero gives a back pass to Vicario. Romero gives it inside to Archie Gray. First touch is good. Looking good in central midfield here, Gray. Lays it off to Spence. Romero goes left to Ben Davis. And he will find Sonny out wide. It's a bit of a bobbly ball, but it's a good first touch. And he goes down the line to Udogie, who wins a foul off Iwobi. And there's been a few of those, so it could be he needs to be careful, Iwobi. But another chance for Spurs to get a ball in the box. And that was better. Better from Udogie. So another chance for Sonny to whip a free kick in towards the box. And this one's a bit closer. Come on. Don't just hit it straight into Leno's hands. Here he comes. Stay on side, boys. It's a good ball. Oh, and it goes all the way through. Could be a corner. No, it's been given as a goal kick. The Spurs fans not happy about that. Apparently they think it hit Fulham last. But anyway, Fulham take it quickly, trying to play it out. Solanke working so hard. Work back. Apparently it should have been a corner. But anyway, got away with a penalty first half, so I'm not that fussed. Look how hard Solanke works back. It's ridiculous. Anyway, Fulham have played it through to the halfway line now. Smith Rowe. And then they play one over the top there. Iwobi's made a run. Good win from Ben Davis. Jimenez drops off him. Then Iwobi, Udogie sort of comes in through, but heavy touch. But then Davis does well. And then should be a foul in the halfway line there for Spurs, but it's not been given. Udogie, tried to put Solanke through the channel there, and he might have been in. But it's cleared for a Spurs throw in midfield. Spurs fans picking up the noise in this second half. It's been a better second half for Spurs for sure. Madders, he was asked to start taking his substitute kit off, but he hasn't been brought on as yet. And Fulham win it in midfield. Wonder who Madders would come on for. Probably Bentancur, I guess. But Bentancur has improved in the last 5-10 minutes. Tell not really in this game at the moment. And Willian plays it out wide right. Jimenez stops it from getting to Iwobi, but now it gets to Iwobi, and they've got a runner, but he brings it onto his left foot and across half box by Udogie, but then a poor touch outside the box and Bergvall comes to Pereira, and now Willian. Now Robinson on the left. He will try and get a cross in. Body shape brings it back to Willian, edge of the box, and now it gets to Robinson again. Oh, and a great ball into the box to Smith Rowe. Great defending from Romero. Absolutely ridiculous. So good. Really great body strength from Romero. Just did not give Emma Smith Rowe a chance there. Oh, and Spurs in a good position down the left with Son. And Solanke's made a good run for him, but Son tries an early cross. Not sure about that, but does make it to Bentancur. His first touch isn't good, but chance here. If you can find Tell, chance at the back stick. Oh, Tell puts his foot on it. Maybe he shouldn't. Then Bergvall shoots. Deflected corner. Yeah, the game is starting to open up. Son there with an early cross. I was surprised at, but it did reach Bentancur. Another corner for Spurs. Sonny with it, outswinger. Good delivery. Oh, got all the way to the back post, and it looked like it was Ben Davis slipping there, but it comes to Bergvall. He's going to try the big diag, but straight into the arms of Leno. And now Leno looking to get it out wide early to Willian, who flicks it round the corner, beating Spence. Jimenez now. Spence gets back in, though. Good work from Spence. But now Iwobi. He's going to try the... No, it's a good ball out wide right to Emil Smith Rowe. Spurs getting their bodies back now. Udogie pressing well. Solanke just doing so much donkey work. Now, Fulham have the ball wide right. Come back in narrow. So Muniz, who scored against us here last year, and Traore, who we were interested in for so long, are about to come on for Fulham. Fulham play it in down the right behind Udogie now to Iwobi, but his first touch flicks out behind him, and then Udogie tries to be strong. And Udogie gets it off for throw-in. And Iwobi wants a foul, but I don't think it was. And now the subs are going to be made. 62 minutes gone. And it's Raul Jimenez coming off, sorry, and he's not happy about it. He hasn't had much of a kick certainly in the first 20 minutes or so of this half. But Muniz, who did score against us last year, and it's Iwobi off as well. So that'll be a good battle. If Traore goes to the right, it'll be a good battle between him and Udogie, won't it? Strength-wise and pace-wise. I think he has scored one against us, hasn't he? I feel like Traore as well. A lob, maybe, at some point. I can't remember when that game was, but anyway, Fulham have the ball in the back line now as Solanke, as ever, pressing hard. Sonny's with him. And Fulham chip it down the line. Spurs win the throw-in. Archie Gray's quietly had a good game, positionally, hasn't he? Nothing seems to overawe Archie Gray at all. Nothing seems to get to him. I remember him misplacing one pass on the half turn. Apart from that, it's just been busily sweeping up, helping his mates. Said it maybe 15 minutes ago. I feel like there's probably one goal in this game, or whoever wins this game will be the team who scores the first goal, and it still feels that way. Udogie with the throw now. Gray trying to make him an option. Udogie into Bentancur, back to Udogie, who does well to stop his body and initiate the contact from Pereira and win a foul. That's good stuff from Udogie. Smart play. Yeah, and this is another opportunity for Spurs to whip one into the box. Although, is Son going to do it quickly? No, yeah, I think Sonny's right here. This feels like the kind of game where you've got to maximize your chances to make things happen. And free kicks from out wide, chance to get the ball into the box, I think is the right decision to try and make the most of that. Here comes from Son. Oh, could have been flicked at the near post from Bentancur. Bergvall does well outside the box. And then good stuff from Gray into Tell. And Tell comes narrow and tries an early cross. Not much pace on it, but it's flicked at the near post, I think, from Davis straight into the hands of Leno. Bassi bringing the ball forward, goes wide to Robinson. Tell did well. And now Tell is in down the right. How's your pace, Tell? He's in. Oh, what has the ref given? He was in. And Tell has gone down, injured there. I didn't see a foul there. And Romero getting in Bassi's face. So basically, the ref's given a foul, but then Tell was in, and Bassi has fouled him after the ball's gone. And Tell's injured. He's up now. He looks all right. But I didn't see a foul there. Be interested to see the replay. He's getting a talking to from the ref. So where's the foul here? Oh, they've given it for Solanke on Bassi. There's so little in that. And you know there's so little in it because Bassi got back to his feet to make the foul. It's not a good foul either. But anyway, this will end up being a Fulham free kick somehow. Bassi went down like he'd been hit by a fucking train, and there's really nothing in it from Solanke at all. Romero off for Maddison. So Archie Gray into centre-back. So let's get Madders on the ball. Archie Gray, the ultimate utility man. And the game starts again. And Fulham go for a big one over the top of Ben Davis, who wins the first one. But now he's up against Traore, but does well to get an early tackle and win the throw-in. Brilliant from Ben Davis. I think he knows Ben Davis, if he's up against Traore, he's got to get a challenge in early before Traore gets up to speed. That was good stuff. Solanke not able to hold the ball up there. Oh, bad ball there. Tell picks it up, and here, Spurs on the way forward. But Tell with a great ball. Oh, I'll tell you what, just ahead of Sonny, but that was a great ball from Tell. Sonny still has it now, driving into the box. Comes in, he's going to want to have a dig here. Oh. And now Bentancur on the edge of the box, goes out wide now to Tell. And Spence making a little run for him, so Tell comes in narrow. And he has a dig with the outside. Chance! Tell actually had a great shot, saved by Leno, and the save falls to a Spurs player's chest, and then from the chest it goes to Solanke, and on the volley, he's close, and he should score. Tell's effort with his left foot was really good. And then it's Madders who chests it to Solanke. I don't think Solanke was expecting it, and that's what the commentator's saying, and I agree. It was brilliant, brilliant thinking from Madders to chest it into Solanke, who's 7 yards out. That's a shame. Spurs have had 8 attempts so far this second half. I talked about it in my opening, didn't I? I said, can we keep in the game till around 60 minutes and then bring on some finishers? And at the moment, Tottenham have looked so much better since the substitutes. Oh, no. Sonny there. Oh, Bentancur helps him out. Looked like Sonny was going to lose the ball. Anyway, Ben Davis gives it to Bentancur. He goes inside to Sonny in the centre circle. He plays it to Spence, who unfortunately can't bring the ball down. That was a shame. But it was good to see Tell take that shot on his left foot. Oh, Spurs have just been bypassed in midfield. The entire midfield is out of position, and now they're in down the right with Traore. He's going to run at Udogie. Show him the line. Show him the line. You know he wants to go there. And good defending from Udogie leads to a corner. And Fulham are going to bring on Tom Cairney, who has scored goals against us before. I always really like him. He never starts games, seemingly, for Fulham. Such a kind of old throwback number 10, Tom Cairney. And he has scored against us before. Anyway, let's see if we can deal with this corner first. It's Fulham's 6th corner. Spurs have had 5. Here it comes. Oh, and they go early to the edge of the box. Willian. Someone's got to go to him. Solanke is. So pushes him back. Robinson. Castagna. And they play it out wide right now. Bergwall's out there. He goes down the line to Traore, and Udogie already getting involved in that good scrap with Traore. A bit of a shoulder barge fighting contest there. And Cairney is now coming on. 71st minute. On for Emil Smith-Rowe, who I think really, to be fair, has been jogging about a bit today. "20 minutes to go." When was the last time Spurs had a 0-0? Seems unlikely, even though there's only 20 minutes to go, to be honest. The game is starting to open up. Fulham with the throw. Solanke still working, pressing so hard. It's a Fulham throw on the right-hand side. Slanky works hard in midfield. That's another Fulham throw, though. They take it quickly to Bassey. Tries a big old long diag over the top of Spence. Oh, and it's well taken down by Willian, but then Spence leans into him. Yeah, and the ref does well there because Willian wants a foul, but Spence just did really well, I think. So he goes down the line into Tell's feet. Can't lose it here, Tell, and he just about finds Bentancur. That was a bit dodgy, though. And then Gray lays it off to Ben Davis. Gives it into Bentancur. The Fulham fans didn't like that. They thought it should be a foul, but I disagree. Bentancur into Bergvall. Bentancur just accidentally let the ball slide under his feet, but gets away with it. Gray finds Madders. Davis finds Madders again in the inside left position. He tries a ball down the line into the channel for Solanke. Don't foul him, Dom. He doesn't. And then it ends up going back to the keeper. But Bergvall's putting a bit of a press on here. Good lad. On the keeper, Bernd Leno got himself in all sorts of trouble there and kicks it off the pitch. Good stuff from Bergvall there. Saw an opportunity to press the keeper in a difficult position. And we've done the throw quickly. Tell to Bergvall. Tell looked to try and get across him, but no one was there. Now Spence tries the cross. Comes to the near post. Solanke is it? Gives it into Madders. Spence gets away from Madders. Madders into Tell. Goes back to Madders. Fulham pushing us back here, unfortunately. Oh, and Madders with a bit of a dodgy touch, but Gray now finds Ben Davis. Traore pressing him. Oh, I'll tell you what. Ben Davis made a secondary run, and actually Udogie could have given it to him earlier, but he bottled it. That's a shame because Davis made an extra man there down the left-hand side. 74 minutes gone, still 0-0. Fulham with the throw on the right. And there we go. The commentator saying Spurs yet to have a goalless draw. Anytime recently. Oh, brilliant play from Pereira. Showed a bit of class there. Makes a secondary run as well, but Ben Davis clears and does well. He's had a good game, Ben Davis. Fulham take the throw. Play it back to Bassey. Solanke working hard on Bassey. Oh, and Bassey gives it to Leno. Again, wasn't in the position that Bassey thought he was. And Robinson now being pressed by Tell, but Robinson does well, comes inside. Plays a good ball across to his fullback on the other side. Game is definitely opening out a bit here as we reach the last quarter of the game, last 15 minutes. Bergvall does well in central midfield, but accidentally gives it to Traore. And then Bergvall gets a huge foot in it, but then it bounces back to Traore again. And then Bentancur helps Bergvall out. Good stuff from Spurs. And there's a possibility for a little transition here, but he gave it. That was such a poor ball from Udogie, and it hits Maddison's heels. This could be a goal here, but Vicario dives out, comes to Willian outside the box. He's going to hit it, top corner, and it's just wide. That was right up Willian's alley. And there the difference is there. Spurs got themselves in a good position with Udogie, but he wasn't careful enough with his pass, so it hits Maddison's heel, and as a result, Fulham are running at us. Pereira gets an early crossing. Vicario punches out the clearance, and it comes straight to Willian, and it's just wide. And I think really the mistakes there are Udogie, and I think Vicario actually there could just catch that. Odebear on for... Oh, terrible touch from Sonny there. It'll be for Tell, I'm sure. Yeah, Odebear on for Tell. So Odebear on the right will give us a little something extra as well. Oh, poor ball from Fulham. And a good first-time ball from Bentancur, but unfortunately, Sonny's... No, I think... Yeah, Sonny's touch loses it straight away. A great tackle from Jed Spence there on the halfway line. Bassi now being pressed from Solanke. Another poor ball to Bernd Leno. And Leno has to go long. Ben Davis. No, easily cleared out by Pereira. And Spurs in big trouble now. Traore, can he find the man? Well done by Jed Spence. And now Odobert. Possible transition opportunity here. He's all on his own there, Odobert. Needs help big time. And he loses it as a result because no one helped him. And now Willian running at the box. They're in down the left now. Robinson. Maddison helping out in the box. Oh, and Traore flicks it around the corner. Goal. Tottenham is shit, man. Fucking hell. Muniz, the guy who scored last year. And that will be the game, I would have thought. Do you know what? I've talked about it so many times this season. I'm not that bothered in this game, but when Spurs are in their own box so regularly, they're too scared to put in 50-50 challenges. And as a result, we allowed Muniz to get a free shot on goal. So Robinson crossed it in. And look, Maddison with the first clearance opportunity doesn't get rid of it. And then Davis, not strong enough. Yeah, Davis basically pulled out of a 50-50. Yeah, nobody tight to him. Poor defending. Very poor defending. And Fulham, who've been poor this half. And I wrote in the 68th minute, so 10 minutes ago, at the end of some good play from Spurs, I said, Spurs have had 8 chances second half, much better. Will we be sucker punched? And that is what has happened. And if you're not clinical in the Premier League when you have your chances, and I'm afraid we made a good chance for Solanke, you lose games. And I fear, as I've said all game, as Fulham are in now, and a good block from Davis, I fear that this will be the end for Spurs this game. Although good stuff there from Udogie winning it off Traore. And then a poor ball inside again. And this is how we lost that first goal when we got in a good position. And Spence fouls Tom Kearney. He's a clever player. Arsenal still 1-0 up against Chelsea. Be another loss for Spurs today. They've done better. They did well in the first 15 minutes of the game, and they've done well in the second half, but poor defending. Yeah, there you go. There's the stat from the commentator. Here comes the in-swing free kick, cleared with punch by Bakari. Spurs have gone 1-0 down away from home 5 times this season, and they've lost all 5 times. Leno goes long to Jed Spence. I feel sorry for Odobert, really. He just before that goal, he got the ball from a clearance from Spurs, and he was running down a blind alley down the right. No one was anyone near him, so he holds on to it a bit long, and actually it's one back, and that's what led to the goal in the end. And you know that Fulham will just pop it around now and go down on the floor all the time and waste the time, break our rhythm and stuff. There we go. They win a free kick there. Wow, when Fulham win this game, they go level on points with Aston Villa. Blimey. I would lift them into 8th place. Cheers. I know we've had so many injuries, but no excuse whatsoever to be. I think 11, we will be after this 11 points behind Fulham. So poor. A doggy down the left now. No one anywhere near him. Cuts it inside to Madders, who's fouled. Well, anyway, it's fallen to a doggy again. He's running into the box now. Cuts it back to Son, who takes it on his left foot when he should have opened his body out, I think, there. Madders limping. He was fouled in the build-up. Oh, and then Spurs just giving the ball away so cheaply. And now Traore opening his legs up. Oh, Bergvall fouls him. But they play on, Fulham. Kearney to Willian. Kearney's gone for the reply, but Spence deals with it. We did once, didn't we, with Harry Winks, get a last kick of the game winner against Fulham. We could do with something late and good happening for us today. Bassey, Fulham just popping it about. Spence sees it out for a Spurs throw right by his own corner flag. Spurs are going to make, I guess, the last change. Dane Scarlett coming on. Not yet, though, as Spence gives it to Gray. Spurs just throwing it straight to Fulham, just giving the ball away. Spurs have just lost any belief that they can get back in this game. You can see it. There's none. It's almost like they feel sorry for themselves. That's the mentality thing again. Leno goes over the top. Spence up for the header, but he loses out to Muniz. And now Robinson in down the left again. Good early cross. Oh, and it came to Pereira, and then Gray clears it out to Madders. Gives it to Udogie. Comes back. Udogie does well to open his body out there. Plays it into Son. Oh, lovely football from Spurs. And Udogie is in down the left now. But he's kind of on his own. Solanke's trying to get with him. He has to hold it up, unfortunately. Yeah, there's no one in the box, unfortunately. And so we've allowed Fulham to get the whole team back. Spence now to Odebear. First attacking position for him. Goes inside to Bentancur. Outside the box now to Madders. Tries a dink through, but cleared easily by Fulham. Bergvall in a good position down the right. Oh, lovely skill from Bergvall. Tries to go around the other side of Bassey and then dives on the floor. Just unfortunately, the only thing he doesn't have there is the strength, Bergvall, to get past Bassey. Well, the CoComs thinks there's a case for a penalty there, but I don't think so. Bergvall doing so well in midfield, though, fighting so hard. Plays it out wide to Son. It's a good ball into Son. Son now running at Castagna. Gets into the box. Gets it across the front. Cut out by Anderson. Son gets it back. Or tries to find Odebear. Goes off for a goal kick. It just didn't look like a penalty, to be honest. Scarlett on for Bentancur. 5 minutes to go, plus any added time. Willian goes off for Fulham. He's had a good game. He's 36. And Ryan Sessegnon comes on. Get us an own goal, Sess. Leno with a goal kick goes shaped to go short. Does go short in the end. Scarlett working hard already. Oh, and now Muniz running forward at Spurs. Davis gets in a decent position, but Muniz keeps it. Goes out wide right to Traore. He just holds it up. Fulham popping it about nicely now. You'd have to say from the first half they deserve this, but from the second half they don't. But when you're not clinical... Oh, I'll tell you what, Spurs in trouble here. Sessegnon could be in. Ben Davis, body's in the wrong side. Sessegnon scored. Oh, my God. Oh, Ryan Sessegnon, I'm pleased for him, to be honest. Puts in the top corner. Doesn't celebrate. Davis let a long ball bounce and he shouldn't have done. Another defeat for Tottenham. I did say the first goal would be the team that won it, and that's what's happened. I'm pleased for Sessegnon, but yeah, just another poor and not unexpected day for Tottenham. Looks like there's been a bit of a kickoff on the sidelines, is there? It's just a long kick. It's just a big old long hike from Leno. Oh, and Davis thought that Spence was going to go and get it. And Spence just doesn't even bother. Leaves Davis one-on-one, and then they score. Davis is livid. But why is Spence not coming to help him there? I think that's kind of almost the mind of, no, don't need to defend now because we're 1-0 down. We need to try and score a goal. It's a great finish. He's always been a great finisher, though, Sessegnon. Always. But he just didn't get on the pitch enough for Spurs. But I'm pleased for him. That's the script right there, though, isn't it? That is what happens in the Premier League. The script gets written. No. So 89 minutes gone. Fulham 2, Spurs 0. Muniz wins the header. Spence this time does go back and then turns away from his man. That's what he should have done with Ben Davis, really. Spence plays it down the line into Odebear. Heavy touch from him. Fulham just popping it about now. 5 minutes added time. God, they might get another one. Let's see what you guys are saying in the comments. Mace says, how anyone thinks we're going to win the Europa League is beyond me. DL Joe says, please call time on this season. I think I can speak on behalf of everyone when I say I've had enough of this pathetic team and its false promises of glory. Lots of angry people. Don't know why you're angry today. Lots of people annoyed with me on Thursday for being angry when we took Van der Ven off. Thursday was when it mattered. Oh, chance. Oh, Muniz with an overhead kick, but it falls to Sessegnon. Dinks it to the far post. Another chance at the back stick. Straight down Vicario's throat. Vicario throws it over to Udogie down the left. I wonder why Big Ange brought Van der Ven with him if he wasn't going to give him any minutes today. Guess to do the training pre-match and post-match warm down and stuff. And Tottenham, quite possibly, maybe just after the international break. This carries on, obviously, our pre-international break curse. This will be the 6th time in a row we've lost just before an international break. Probably not a coincidence, I'd say. And every chance that after the international break, we could go down into 16th place. Because we're level with West Ham, Man United. And I think for me, just another example of how Tottenham just lose games unless they're playing their best team. It's as simple as that. Robinson in down the left. Brilliant. He's just beaten 3 men, Robinson. And it's 4 against 3 for Fulham here. Plays it inside, but Udogie with a great tackle. 2 great tackles. And then Spence does something mental on the ball and manages to nearly keep it, but no. And eventually gets a foul. Yeah, unless we have our best team out, we lose all the games, basically. That's how it works with Spurs. And that, I'm afraid, is not good enough. You have to find ways to win even when you're not got your best team. Yeah, they're showing the replay of the Bergvall penalty incident. It would have been a foul anywhere else on the pitch, but there you go. Maddison loses the ball. Traore. Sessegnon now. Bergvall wins it off Sess. Gives it to Odebear on the right. Bergvall gives it inside to Madders. Tries a big long one over the top to Solanke, but straight down the throat of Bernd Leno. Just a minute and a half left now. Very, very disappointing for Spurs, but still better we lose this one than we lost against AZ. Oh, Tottenham have a little chance here. Sonny comes inside. Puts it out wide left to Solanke. Whose shot is saved from Leno. Buffered at just the wrong time there, but I didn't get to see the save. But Solanke was in on his left foot, tries to cross Leno. Would have all been too little too late anyway. Oh, it's a good save from Leno, actually. But it's really the one that Solanke missed on the volley when it was 0-0 that really changed the game, unfortunately. Fulham still in the FA Cup as well. What a season they're having. Archie Gray brings it forward. Odebear's had some poor touches since he's been on. Maybe tired after Thursday night. 10 seconds to go, this one. I'm not sure we would have conceded those goals if Romero had stayed on the pitch, but better safe than sorry. And that is the end. This is my post-match review to the Fulham 2, Tottenham Hotspur 0 Premier League game. And if you can hear a kind of dull tone in my voice, it's because I would say that is possibly the least unexpected result. I think before the game, I thought maybe some of the pressure would have been taken off Spurs by the fact that they won on Thursday night and through to the Europa League quarterfinals. But I think Ange rightly, rotated his squad. And as a result, in the first half especially, it was just evidence of a very mix and match team. Like I said it during the watch along, one of those classic performances where, you've got kind of half of your first team players and then half of your players who come in to replace the first team if they're injured. And as a result, there's no fluidity and no rhythm. And that's exactly what that was like. But in the second half, he made a change at half time. He brought on Bergvall, he brought on Son. And Spurs very much, for the first half an hour of the second half, had the best of it and made one particularly gilt-edged chance for Dominic Solanke, who was unfortunately not kind of expecting it from a chest down from James Maddison. I'm just watching Lucas Bergvall, who's complaining to the referee because Bergvall thought he should have had a penalty in that second half off Calvin Bassey. He needs someone really to take him away here, Bergvall. There's no point in him talking to the referee anymore. It would have been, in terms of that penalty situation, it's a foul that would have been given for him elsewhere on the pitch, but it just didn't look like a penalty. I think it wasn't helped by the fact that Bassey is so much bigger than Bergvall, so it looked kind of just in real time like it looked just like he kind of out-muscled him, but he did foul him. But Bergvall was outstanding when he came on. Bergvall is the light. Him and Archie Gray are the light at the end of a very dark tunnel of this season. And as I was saying towards the end of the watch along, every chance that the week after or the week we get back from the international fixtures when we play our next game, that we could be down in 16th place in the Premier League, literally only above Ipswich, Southampton, Wolves, and those teams. And at the beginning of the watch along I did today, I got some comments talking about how I'm a negative Spurs fan, how I'm reactive, how I'm Ange in when we win and Ange out when we lose. And it's like, I have to say, not only did I talk about it at the time, and being reactive is what supporting football is all about, but no matter how many injuries we've had, and also let's not forget that injuries, I think, have to be the responsibility of the manager. He's in charge of the training. He's in charge of how many sprints we do, blah, blah, blah. But how can you defend 16th in the Premier League? How can you defend it? I don't know how. I'm finding it hard to defend it. I'll stick to it. I want it to work for Ange. God, there's nothing I want more than for him to win the Europa League. And I agree that he should be rotating these games. And all that really matters in these Premier League games is that we don't get any injuries. And the only one that looked a bit of a worry, Romero went down at one point. Hopefully he's fine. But no matter what happens, it's going to be incredibly difficult for Ange after this season. Even if we win the Europa League, it'd be an incredibly difficult meeting he's going to have with Daniel Levy, Scott Munn, and Langer to discuss why we finished most likely kind of 13th, 14th at best, 15th, maybe 16th in the league. Very, very poor indeed. In terms of performances, Vicario didn't have much to do. I think arguably he made a few wrong decisions, punching when he could have caught, but I'll give him, 6 out of 10. Jed Spence did okay. I'll give him a 6.5 out of 10. Romero, 6.5 out of 10. Ben Davies did okay, but then unfortunately was at fault for the second goal, where he was left isolated by Jed Spence up against Ryan Sessegnon. So I'm going to have to mark him down for that. So I'll give him a 6 out of 10. Udogie, flattered to deceive a lot of the time, maybe 5.5, 6 out of 10. In midfield, incredibly functional midfield he picked. And in the first half, just no creativity whatsoever. Archie Gray did fine. His first kind of 90 minutes for Spurs playing in midfield, although actually at the end, the last 20 minutes, he played at centre-back again. I'll give Archie Gray 6.5 out of 10. Bentancur, whatever, 6 out of 10. Brennan Johnson hooked off at half-time, 4 out of 10 for Brennan Johnson. Solanke worked hard. I'll give him a 6.5 out of 10. Tell did one brilliant thing, so I'll get him up to a 6.5 out of 10. I'm missing one midfielder. Who were the midfielders? It was Bissouma. Oh, God. 4 out of 10 for Bissouma. So all in all, just, a kind of classic poor Tottenham away defeat that we've seen so many times this season. And really, how can you be surprised when we're playing, like I said, mix and match teams? Half the first team, the rest of the players made up of players who are kind of squad players. No rhythm, no balance. It was better in the second half. We did pick up. We should have scored. And I think if we'd had scored the first goal, then I think we would have won that game. But we didn't. And by that point, he'd taken Romero off because he's worried about his injury or getting re-injured. And I'll have to say that I think in reality, we're just not as good. We're not as good when we've got Davis and Archie Gray playing at centre-back. And certainly for that first goal, another example that I've seen so many times this season of when the opposition are in our box, but there are lots of kind of men around, Tottenham players afraid to put in kind of strong 50-50 challenges, like they're afraid to give away penalties. Well, don't be afraid to give away a penalty if you're going to give away a goal. Do you know what I mean? You have to show when you're in your own box that you're in the ascendancy, that you are the person taking control of the situation. Make the striker be afraid to put his foot through the ball because he doesn't want to get a kicking, A lot of it is kind of almost the perception of what's going to happen as much as what is going to happen. And so that was disappointing that we let Muniz, who only came on as a sub, get that goal. And they're just showing the replay now of the chance for Solanke. And really, in reality, he was 7 yards out. And it comes to him pretty slowly from a chest from James Maddison. And the thing is, he just wasn't expecting it. But if we'd scored this goal, we'd have won the game. He just gets too much on it, volleys it over the bar, unfortunately. But listen, I cannot be a hypocrite because I said I don't care about what happens in the league. It's not literal, like I care, but what I mean is it's important that he rests those players who are going to play in the Europa League. My big worry actually is Solanke. Solanke is basically being flogged again, isn't he? And he is the only player who can properly play number 9. My big fear is if we flog Solanke too much going into that Frankfurt game, we won't win. If we don't have Solanke, Van der Ven, Romero, and Vicario in the team for every game of the Europa League, we have no chance of winning any of them. I'm as clear as I can be about that. So we need to find a way to get some minutes off Solanke as well. And Solanke's going on international break. Now, I'm sure he'll only train. He's not going to play much, I'm sure, because Kane will. But yeah, we have to be careful with Solanke. As careful with him as we are being with Mickey van der Ven, who was on the bench today, but didn't get a chance to come on, and I don't mind that. So I can't be a hypocrite, like I said, and that's why I didn't shout or scream at the screen today. I think if we'd got that first goal, we would have won. The way we played second half, definitely deserved to get a draw. But when it came to the last 15 minutes, once we'd made those changes and Romero had gone off, yeah, there was no chance we were getting back into it there. They're just playing the replay of the Bergvall incident again. Bassi looks like a little bit guilty, but once it's not given on the pitch, the VAR is not going to turn one of those over. And it just, once again, just watching even in slow motion, it just didn't look quite right, unfortunately. But yeah, like I said, shining lights. Archie Gray's first game in midfield. Bergvall looked great again when he came on. Sad to say, but I'm kind of pleased for Sessegnon. Good lad. He got a lot of stick from Spurs fans, and it's unfair because he's just injury prone. That's it. It's not because he's not a good player. He's an excellent finisher, as shown again today. But he won't play that many games for Fulham either. I think he's just not got the muscles for it, unfortunately. But yeah, another defeat for Tottenham. Disappointing. But we lost against Fulham 3-0 away last year. We've not done well against them recently. Silva will be pleased. I have to say, in terms of Silva being on the list potentially as one of the next managers of Spurs, I didn't think Fulham were brilliant today. I would say Iraola over Silva, even though Bournemouth aren't on a great run of fixtures. But I thought Iraola's Bournemouth looked better than Silva's Fulham today. So I'd probably go there. But even saying that will probably get me in trouble with a number of Ange Postecoglou fans. And look, like I said, I love Ange. I'd love it to work for him, but yeah, just not going well for Tottenham in the Premier League this season. And it is, just to be very clear about it, statistically, this is more than on track to be Tottenham Hotspur's worst Premier League season ever since it started in 1992. And injuries are not solely responsible for that. So I'm afraid even you guys who are solely behind Ange Postecoglou, 100%, you're going to have a think about why it has been the worst season ever. I think we need to get another 10 points to try and stop that. And I'm not sure how that's going to happen. Our stats are 1-10, drawn 4, lost 15 Premier League games. Man United have only lost 12. West Ham have only lost 13. So it's Southampton, Leicester, Ipswich and Wolves. And very possibly, after the next round of games, we will be in 16th with only Wolves, Ipswich, Leicester and Southampton behind us. And I'm afraid, as much as I love Ange Postecoglou and as much as I respect your love for Ange Postecoglou, there's no coming back from that. If he wins the Europa League, it's a total other conversation. But Eintracht Frankfurt will watch these kind of games and just break Tottenham's rhythm. Don't give them any rhythm. Don't give them any chance. You will score a goal. And yeah, so the chance of winning the Europa League, not great. Anyway, that's been my instant match reaction. Thank you so much for watching. Do give the video a like. Press subscribe on the channel if you haven't already. Come on, you Spurs. Okay, welcome to the fan show on Chris Cowlin's channel. Tottenham have just lost 2-0 away at Craven Cottage. in a very not unexpected result as far as I'm concerned. In the fan show, we talk to Tottenham fans from all over the world, and it's really important to us to give a chance for people from all around the world to speak. So if you'd like to be on a future episode of the fan show, please do email Chris on tottenhamfanchris@gmail.com. That's tottenhamfanchris@gmail.com, and he will put you up to speak to me after a future game. Let me just turn off those team things so that we get a bit more space for everybody. And soon I will be talking to you guys. 1 second. Okay. Let's go over to Portland. And
hey, Barnaby.
How are you doing? What were your thoughts on today's game, Scott?
Oh, our midfield was terrible at the beginning of that game. I mean, I know you mentioned Biss, but Bentancur was terrible. He always goes backwards. For him to be the most forward player, that was a terrible idea. That's the only idea I didn't like. I mean, the changes were fine. Udogie was the worst, though. I think he had the most giveaways in the entire first half. I was keeping stats just because I didn't want to make stuff off the top of my head. But he gave the ball away 5 times, 3 of which led to breakaways.
Yep. I mean, I said it during the first half. We're going to just talk about the first half. Just the amount of times, and this is another thing. And I'm getting fed up of being negative about Ange. But how can you allow a team to get down to your byline 6 times on the same side in one half? And it's clear to me that he says to Brennan Johnson, "You don't have to worry about defending," because he just jogs back, and it's like, I don't have a defense for that.
Yeah, I think Brennan Johnson adds nothing except when he's near the penalty box. Yeah. Walking back, he was 5 yards off every player, with the exception of one where he gave away a corner. But he's like always sitting back, and he just kind of jogs around. I don't know how many crosses we've gotten off that side. It feels like they always cross from the other side over Porro. Jed, way better than Porro on defense. He just seems smarter on defense. Porro just seems scattered.
Yeah, but I wonder if actually in reality, anyone who plays as a fullback in this system is buggered because they're told not to get any help from the men in front of them, and therefore Porro, gets a lot of pelters from everyone saying that he can't defend. But when you come up against teams like Fulham, their wide players are not just attackers; they have to get back and help their fullback as well. And anyway, let me ask you this, Scott, because I said after the game on Thursday night how it was actually incredible to see, how improved we were on Thursday with Van der Ven and Romero starting. And I would put the percentage improvement at like 30%. And therefore, in a game like today, when we've not got them playing, what a surprise. I thought we played about 30% worse.
30% worse. Our organization was way better, but I think that was Archie. I think Archie was the key to that first half.
He did well.
And I think the big problem was when you take Romero out, you got to leave Archie where he was, because how quick was the goal right after they moved Archie to the back line? Yeah. And why not bring on Van de Ven? It's going to be 2 weeks of a break. I have no idea how he made that decision. I mean, I know you have 2 left-footed guys. I don't know how that works out. Maybe that's what he didn't want a chance, but oh my God.
I think he's just wrapping Van de Ven in cotton wool, and I don't mind it.
Yeah, but 2 weeks. He has 2 weeks of a break, right? He didn't get called up. No way.
Where are you out? Where are you at, Scott? With where are you at with Ange? What do you think? What do you think long term? Do you think he's got a chance of seeing out his contract for another season at Spurs?
Yeah, no. I don't think his system works. One thing I did write down: subbing is still his weakness. How he didn't bring on a striker earlier, another striker besides Dom. Dom just gets exhausted. He probably missed that chance because he just runs and runs. He runs more than any other striker I remember us ever having. And so I think subbing is his weakest point. He's got. I don't think he survives. I think he survives this season. Anyone who says Ange out, it's just like delirious, because there's no way they're going to get rid of him. I think they have to pay too much, and who are you going to bring in? I think they're going to hit the reset button. I don't know what's going to happen, rebuild or whatever this summer. They might stick with him if the Europa thing does go through, because they do look a better side generally in the Europa stuff.
Looking for some shining lights. I thought Bergvall, when he came on again, was a cut above.
I would agree with that. I think Jed looked great in the first half. The second half, he made some really. Did you watch the replay on him watching that ball go over? It's pathetic. It's like, oh my God, Jed, that's like what Poirot would do. So
that felt to me like him, and obviously he can only think about this for a very short amount of time, but him being like, well, we're 1-0 down, so I'm going to stay here thinking Davis will head it to me and then I'll run up the pitch.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
That shouldn't be, even at 1-0 down, that shouldn't be your thought process, really.
Well, and that's the thing I think with Ange, there's something about, I don't think he's hands-on enough, because he should be like in a meeting somewhere saying, you know what? We can't let this kind of lackadaisical stuff happen. Doggy, 5 giveaways the first half. And they were all lackadaisical, not under pressure necessarily, just giveaways.
I've just put up this comment here from DL Joe. Says, Ardiles, that's Ozzy Ardiles, had a season like this, but despite his terrible tactics, he had an inferior team to the one that Postecoglou has to select from. These players should be doing so much better. So I'm old enough to remember when Ozzy Ardiles was manager, and he had what was called the famous 5. Which was he basically played 5 attackers all at the same time. Teddy Sheringham, Jurgen Klinsmann, Darren Anderton, Nick Barmby, and Ili Dumitrescu. And we were so exciting to watch going forward, but we lost so many games because we couldn't defend. So there are a lot of similar things going on.
Did we lose more than 15 with that team? I mean, 15 is a ton of losses.
Yeah, it's completely mental, isn't it? I don't know the stats, but possibly, quite possibly, in the end, they ended up getting rid of Ozzy Ardiles and replacing him with Jerry Francis, who was the manager of QPR, and he was a very pragmatic manager. So the idea then was to go from one to the other and shore us up at the back. And in the end, he kind of flattered to see. He got us to, I think, to 1 FA Cup semi-final. I think he was in charge when we played Everton and lost to them in the Cup semi-final. Listen, I think Ange is. Listen, let's talk about this. I'm sure you saw the press conference with his kind of slightly impassioned, maybe I wouldn't call it a rant, but his impassioned kind of defense of himself. The problem with Ange a little bit, or one of the problems, as well as the fact that we concede the same goal every game and the injuries, is that it's almost like he wins a game and then he's like, oh, okay, well, here I've got enough collateral to really show you with my brilliant rhetoric why I should be manager, whatever. And I don't think he does have enough collateral. I think the only collateral he can possibly have now is he needs to win the Europa League, and it's mad because that is the very high likelihood is that will be far too difficult for Tottenham to do.
But don't you feel like did you watch the conference? Didn't you feel like I kind of like this conference? And I know they just came off a win. And I like that because I hated Antonio Conte's. I hated Poch's. Poch's were the worst.
I think Ange is a brilliant talker. I think he is a brilliant talker, but I just think he doesn't quite. I think he's misreading how much skin he's got in the game to be able to defend himself that way. Because the bit that I really remember, is him saying, you wouldn't talk to a plumber who's done this for 27 years, or in any other industry, and say that they don't know what they're doing. But
if they keep springing leaks.
Well, what I was going to say is the difference is maybe if the plumber suddenly for the first time got a job at Buckingham Palace and hadn't ever dealt with that kind of piping before, and like you said, leaks keep springing, then actually you would say to that plumber that, and again, not to kind of harp back to the same shit all the time, but we let Anthony Robinson get to the byline 6 times in the first half alone. And any better team with any better wide player would pick out a man and they'd score goals from that. And why is he not stopping that from happening?
Yeah, I don't even have a solution there. But that again, I think it's that whole inverted fullbacks. It just creates too many open areas. I've never seen so many open areas with any other team in the Premier League.
No, and I have Marcelo Bielsa's Leeds.
Oh, okay. I forgot about that.
Everybody loved watching, and me included, I loved watching Marcelo Bielsa's Leeds. But in the end, even the Leeds fans who adored him were like, this is ridiculous.
Madness.
and it was madness. It was brilliant to watch madness, and I think that's why you get all the pundits saying, I love watching Spurs. I love watching Ange Postecoglou. I think he's great, and I think he's great too. But in the Premier League, more than any other league, the first goal wins the game the majority of the time. And unfortunately, we're too easy to score the first goal against. And they gave the stat when we conceded the first goal today. They conceded the first goal away from home 5 times. They've lost every single time.
Oh, you can feel it. You can just, and that's our passes even get looser right after that first goal. It's just like every time, everything gets so wonky. Everyone's like, and there's panic. That's why I think we need a stronger leader than Son. I like Son, but he can't lead. He's like, that's got to stop.
I think the main point for me is that, you know, whereas when Van de Ven and Romero are both playing, they're able to cover some of the distances a lot better to stop those players getting to the byline. When they're not playing, he needs to find a way to stop that happening. But anyway, listen, Scott, thank you so much for coming on the show. Really appreciate you being a part of it, and hopefully speak to you after a better result. Next game, Chelsea away.
Oh, God. I hate that.
Yeah. All right, Scott. Have a good day if you can, mate. Thanks a lot. Oh dear, very depressed looking Scott at the end there. Let's go to Malta and Melvin, who I believe, Melvin, were you at the game on Thursday night?
No, I didn't come on because I was ill. And
no, but I thought you were going to go to the game, weren't you, on Thursday? Or was that someone else? Maybe I'm getting you mixed up. Sorry.
No, I wish actually.
Well, anyway, let's imagine I never asked that. Melvin, how are you, and what were your thoughts on today's performance?
Poor, very poor. I think Postecoglou thought the team lineup was strong enough to get the victory, but obviously it wasn't. I don't think the team had any belief that they were going to win the game. Just felt to me that we could have actually won it, but when we started the second half, I thought maybe there's a chance we might get something out of this, and reminded me of a Pochettino performance where we play poorly, don't deserve the win, and then nick it in the end. Obviously, it didn't happen. Fulham are a good team. They're very, very strong. Disappointed with, obviously, the midfield not playing really well. Archie Gray, I don't think I saw much of him in the first half. Not really influential as much as Bergvall when he came on. I don't remember any standout moments for him. Obviously, he's been thrown in, you can say, in his natural position, but he's not really played there all season. It's his first time starting in the Premier League in that position, and obviously there's going to be a bit of rustiness and sort of Bergvall, what he experienced. Tell was okay in moments. I don't know, just we couldn't keep a hold of the ball. The ball didn't last more than 8 seconds in the first half. We couldn't keep a hold of it. We kept giving it back to them. And in the Premier League, you get punished. We didn't create enough. The subs were okay. Madison didn't do much, didn't have much time. Same with Son, same with Odegaard. Johnson was poor. I expected more out of Johnson. He didn't play on Thursday. He didn't start on Thursday. The issue now we have is that we're going to see a team that plays European football and a team that plays Premier League in a way just to keep fit. Because I think the mindset now is shifted. That
do you think that's the wrong decision?
I don't know, because if you think we're four games away from a cup final, from a European Cup final, and you think I don't want to get injured for that game, I don't want to exert myself in the Premier League just in case I pull something and I'm out. Like we saw under Pochettino when we made it to the Champions League final, our form dropped off a cliff in the Premier League. We weren't winning. We were drawing games. We didn't have the best performances. I think we're going to see that. But obviously with us, if we don't play our strongest 11, we don't win. It's just simple as that. And for me, there's still a lot of uncertainties within the club, within our midfield, the players that we're going to choose for next season, the ones we need to ship off, the manager. There's lots of things that are still a massive question mark. I think winning the Europa League would be the biggest, get out of jail free card that we can get.
Yeah.
Because it will literally put us in the Champions League, will give us, more money to spend. The quality of players we can get would be massive. We would win a fucking trophy, which would be probably, the biggest thing. I don't think we as fans don't realize how big Tottenham Hotspur as a football club is, because we don't win things. And I think we've not seen the size of the club. And I think if we win a trophy, I think North London would be packed full of people, because I think everyone would just flood in. And it's been 17 years. So people who've grown up, falling in love with Gareth Bale, Aaron Lennon, the Champions League run under Pochettino, playing Harry Redknapp football. We deserve, because that's where I fell in love with the club. Obviously, my father made me support the club. I was never going to support another club, but we've been seeing this club grow and develop, and we've not seen the trophy. And doing this show with Chris, I hear people from the States, from Australia, and they all mention, Gareth Bale, Harry Kane made me fall in love with the club. And there's this whole generation of fans that fell in love with this club, playing great football, but not watched us win anything significant. And I just think we're 4 games away from a cup final, and you never know in a cup final what can happen. So for me, the Premier League there needs to be an element of relax. I don't care if we lose them, but keep the players fit, don't get injured, resting Van de Ven, pulling Romero out. Solanke, like you said, he played the whole game, which worries me. Keep Son fit, don't play him too much. Play the guys that haven't played, that need football, that need minutes in their legs. Archie Gray, start him. Brilliant. Yeah, we lost. We could have played our best 11 and still lost.
Oh yeah.
It's a reality. But in this moment in time, what's going to happen? We go from, what position are we in, Barnaby? 40? Because I don't even look at the Premier League anymore, honestly.
I think we're 13th, but we are level on points with 14th, 15th, and 16th.
Yeah,
and we've got Chelsea away next, so I think it's likely we'll be
safe.
16th.
We're safe from relegation. Yeah, we don't want we don't want to be a laughing stock. But listen, if we win the Europa League, who's gonna be laughing then? We would have 3 Europa Leagues at the football club. Arsenal have 0.
Yeah, it's a big if though. It's a big if,
but we're 4 games away, and if we put ourselves in a good position to be in the best moment, best fitness, you don't want.
I agree. That is what I'm desperately hoping will happen. Also, I should say, just because I've seen on X, it's worth talking about. The away fans, some of the away fans were booing Spurs at the end, and so Matthias Tell went over to talk to the away fans. I've seen a clip of it, and he's telling them we need to all stay together. And obviously, you got some kind of boozed up away fans slagging the team off. So it's a difficult time, because I kind of agree. I've said it before. You've got to wrap those players in cotton wool, because our only chance to win in these Europa League games is to do that. But also at the same time, we can't lose every single game.
Yeah, that's what scares me the most, because I think a rotated Spurs team is very weak, very poor, not much quality, not much experience. And I think we struggle with our best 11, let alone, when we rotate. So, Chelsea again, that will scare me. That will be. But at the same time, we need to play these guys together to get some momentum, they need to learn how to win, how to grind results out. I felt if we won 1-0, and that would have been really surprising and really good to see, because we would have kept a clean sheet in a game that we didn't deserve. But obviously it didn't happen. So the team hasn't learned that yet. And obviously it's the Premier League, and you get punished in the Premier League because it's one of the best leagues in the world. And today we weren't on it, and it wasn't good enough. And we know it's no point keep blaming people, because it's the same people that keep doing the same mistakes.
Yeah.
And the same players that, I'll hopefully we get Kulusevski back and get him firing again. We need Kulusevski to start playing well, because he's going to be vital for that European game. And competition for places. We have competition for places now. I mean, look at Odegaard. Odegaard came in and he's fighting for a starting lineup, and there's competition between Tell and Solanke now. There's, which is something that we need. We need people to take the opportunity and grasp it with two hands and take it.
Well, Melvin, listen, thanks so much for being part of the show, and hopefully we can speak after a better one, but really appreciate your thoughts.
No worries. All the best, Barnaby. See
See you
you.
later. Bye-bye. Okay, next up, off to Ireland. Noel, how are you feeling about that loss today?
Oh, Barnaby, I hate football. I really, one of these days where I hate it. This was a game, first half, very poor. I didn't see all of the first half because I was watching it in my brother's house. I wasn't in the pub today because they weren't showing it. Second half, I thought was a massive improvement. One thing that surprised me, though, was at the end of the first half, you had Spence playing at left back and Udogie was right back. I think this was for about the last 5 minutes. So the manager obviously saw something that he wasn't happy about. And then Udogie played the whole of the second half. That surprised me, that he reverted back to the original formation in the second half. Good to see Son coming on and Bergvall. They did make a difference. And the intensity was a lot better in the second half. And I think there possibly was a penalty there. You probably saw it afterwards, have you? With Bergvall?
What I've said is I think outside of the box it would have been given as a foul, but it was one of those ones.
Right,
I think just sometimes this happens and it shouldn't, but when you've got a player who is physically a lot less strong, kind of almost looking than the defender, it's very rare that you're going to get those kind of ones that look like kind of coming togethers. And that's what seemed to happen.
The disappointing thing for me is that I actually think that Fulham were there for the taking. I mean, they weren't fantastic. I mean, they're a good, strong, physical team. But the disappointing thing was the two goals came from individual errors. Fulham weren't like beating the door down. I mean, Vicario had one of his quietest games I can remember for a long time. And I think actually he had a couple of moments where he possibly could have caught the ball and punched. But I can't remember the first goal. I think was definitely avoidable, and I think the second goal came from Odegaard. Was trying to do to win a ball on the wing, and it suddenly found itself in. I know Spence.
That was the first goal. That was the first goal where Odegaard, the ball had been cleared. Yeah, that was the first goal. The ball had been cleared, and Odegaard was kind of on his own. Maybe he should have just knocked it into the channel. Really,
Yeah, sure. Well, the second goal, I wouldn't blame Spence too much. I think he was thought to himself, Davis has this. He's bound to, and Davis was muscled out of it. And I can't help thinking, where was this player when we needed him? Sessegnon, this guy was 25 million, was the next Gareth Bale, and he comes back to haunt us. He looks more beefed up, and I suppose he's feeling very good about it. So all in all, I just think it was a bit of a performance. Could have won the game, and no finish. Like, I mean, the Fulham goalkeeper, really, we didn't really make him work at all. Playing some good football.
Just that one chance for Solanke that I think if we'd scored that, we probably would have gone on to win, don't you?
Yeah, I think actually that if he had taken it down, he had the time to take it down and slide the ball in. That was definitely a good chance. Some performances, okay. Can't really pick anybody out. I was listening to your summing up afterwards, and the points you were given, I wouldn't disagree with any of them. I don't think there was any standout player. Bergvall did well when he come on. Archie Gray, he's obviously not used to that position, and then obviously had to go back into the centre half. Bit concerning.
He did well. He did. I thought he did pretty well in the six, really. Considering how few times he's played there in the top league.
Yeah, he's a good player. He's got a good football brain. I think without Van der Ven, you've seen what he did on Thursday night. Like, he's a Rolls Royce of a footballer, and obviously I agree with you. You can't, like, we have 2 more weeks, and before we play again, surely at that stage, he has to step back in and play the full 90 minutes. And I think we're a much better team with them. I was a bit critical of Romero on Thursday night. I thought he did much better today. His passing was crisp. He was very secure. And when he went off, actually, we looked at a completely different team. So one of those days where it's like a real kick in the teeth. I think it was possibly there for the taking. but did we do enough? Probably not. So
No,
I don't know, Barnaby. It's 15 losses in the season, and you were talking about the Aussie Ardelas team. I think it was 93, 94, where we really, really, really came within a whisker of going down. We're not in that danger because there's worse teams down there. But my God, 15 losses, and we have 10 more games left in the season. Like, where's it going to end up? I wouldn't have a lot of hope for Chelsea away because we never seem to get anything there. And every time we play Chelsea, we seem to press the self-destruct button. So I think I'll go to the pub, Barnaby, now after this.
I think a good decision, Noel. Thanks so much for being part of the show. I really appreciate it, mate. I'll speak to you next
Thanks,
time.
Barnaby. Thanks, Barnaby. Thank
See
you.
you later. Bye-bye. Okay, next up, over to the Czech Republic and Steve, and a slightly depressed-looking Steve. What did you make of that game today, mate?
Well, after Thursday, I actually went to the game and met up with Chris and really enjoyed Thursday's game.
It was you who went. I got confused. I knew it was one of you guys who said you were going.
Yeah,
that must have been a fun night in the end.
It was Mervyn. It was a fantastic night. It's unbelievable. It's my first time in the new stadium. So, but I just felt, today it was going to be like a question of after the Lord Mayor's show. But obviously, it was a virtually different side that he put out. But as people were texting me and vice versa, none of us thought we'd get anything out of the game from the lineup that started. The attack's too weak. You got Tell and Johnson, who's not exactly my favourite player, and that's putting it mildly. And so he was hooked. Yeah, it was pretty poor. Bissouma was, well, you've already mentioned it. He's gone through the players again and again. I mean, it's so bad. It's unbelievable. On and off the ball, he was absolutely rubbish.
Well, I've got a quote here from Ange about Bissouma from after the game. He says, "I feel Bissouma sometimes lets the game drift by him. He needs to be more dominant. Today, we needed more in that position. I'd needed him to play because he hasn't played a lot. At the same time, I need him to perform." It's safe to say maybe Bissouma and a few guys lack a bit of confidence, but at this stage of the season, we need people to perform. So yeah, that's quite pointed.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see him again, hopefully, this season in a Tottenham shirt. Or for my liking, even Johnson. I'm sorry. He might have a lot of goals, but they're mostly tap-ins, as I keep saying every week. I was happy with the substitutions. Again, texting with people, and it brought a lot more energy. I felt we wasted the ball, though, in the final third again. And although, Sonny did have a good impact, that his final ball was poor most of the time, apart from the ball at the end to Solanke, who I felt should have scored at least twice today. The first header, it came to him pretty fast. I suppose he'd been spoilt with Harry Kane, and then the second header wide of the post. And then the reflex shot over the bar, as the last chap said, he had time to bring it down and place it. It's all rushed. I'm very disappointed in him, and the chance at the end, he sort of scuffed it, really, didn't really get a hold of it. So we had enough chances to at least draw the game. And their goals, as we've already mentioned, were gifts, more or less. I was so disappointed with Davis. How can you be out-muscled by little old Ryan Sessegnon?
Can I just say, listen, I don't disagree. I think that was unfortunate, but what I'm more frustrated about is the first goal, because I've seen it so many times this season where they are unwilling to go in hard enough to put players off in the box.
That was a good point.
It happens all the time.
Yeah, they were ball watching there in the box, weren't they? Yeah. As someone mentioned as well, though, Odeberg should have, he got surrounded. He had at least two players, possibly three, closer to him than a single Spurs player.
Yeah.
And he's trying to wriggle out of it. And that led to the first goal. But as you say, it didn't really put a challenge in the box.
That feels a little bit like another example. And I'm trying not to go in on Ange too hard because I can't be a hypocrite, because I have said I don't care that much about these league games now. And I know it's a difficult situation to be in. But
yeah,
with the Odeberg situation, that feels like one of those things where he knows he's got three people around him, but probably in the back of his mind, he's like, if I just put this in the channel, Ange will shout at me. Because he says, no, I want you all the time to do, the bravest thing you can. Well, unfortunately, at the top level, you get punished for that shit. And sometimes you just got to put it in the channel and turn them. And I don't know, it's his idea. He's an idealist, and it counts against us sometimes, I think.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I also agree on your points. The point you made earlier as an ex-goalkeeper. I mean, you're an ex-goalkeeper. I thought Vicario, that chance that fell to William, was. He doesn't seem to want to catch it. I don't know what you thought about that. And he parried it out. That was back.
Yeah, I said it at the time. That one, because I double checked the replay on it. The player who was coming in to potentially try and head that cross was behind Vicario. If he'd been kind of level with Vicario or in front of him, then I could see why he'd punch it, because if he dropped it, it would fall straight to him. But because he's behind him, even if he'd gone to catch it like that and it had fallen in front of him, the guy was gone. Yeah. So I just thought, look, it's a split-second decision. I thought he should have probably catched it, but it's not the continental goalkeeper's way. So
no, it's not, is it? It's not. No. So yeah, so big disappointment after Thursday, and I was hoping, for a draw. I thought we were unlucky with the penalty with Bergvall. I thought Bergvall was excellent. I mean,
so did I.
And on Thursday night, the way he reads the game, he's ahead of his years on that. And he did it again today a couple of times. He knows, he estimates where the ball is going to end up or where the play is going to end up, and he's there to sweep up. But then he turns and moves forward 9 times out of 10.
Do you know what? You don't get many players who are as silky on the ball as he is, who can drive forward with the ball at pace, but who also is strong in the tackle and loves a 50-50, and he's good in the air for his height as well. Yeah. I'm getting to the stage with him that where one, I'm worried he's getting a bit too good, and two, build a team around him, because there was also some talk after Thursday night that because he played kind of slightly more like the 6 role, that maybe he could be the player who can dominate that area of the pitch. I thought Gray did okay there as well. So maybe, I wonder if next season maybe we could have a Gray, Bergvall, Madison midfield at times, or Gray, Bergvall, Kulusevski. The only issue is none of them are huge, but Gray and Bergvall are both good in the air anyway.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, no, there's lots of possibilities. I'd like to see him further forward, Bergvall.
Yeah,
I think to give him a chance to score some goals, like the goal he got against Liverpool.
Yeah, that was a good finish. All right, Steve, thanks for being a part of the show today. Try and enjoy the rest of the weekend if you can. Yep. And don't worry, I think it's something like 18 days, so we need to worry about watching Spurs again. So.
Oh, super. Yeah, I can relax.
Yeah. All right, mate.
Thanks for having me.
Cheers,
Enjoy the
mate.
show,
Bye-bye.
as usual. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.
Okay, and finally, the most patient of all of our guests, Harry. Garth, how are you, Harry, mate?
I'm very good, thank you. How are you?
I'm okay. What did you think of that performance?
Not great. I thought we were better second half, but in the end we were punished, weren't we? Overall, I think that we defended really well in the game up until Romero left the pitch. I don't think fans will like to say it, but I think that substitute cost us today. And I'm like you, Barnaby, in terms of, I'm like the league doesn't matter, so I've got to be careful what I say. But I do think this defeat is largely on Postecoglou. I think there's, we saw wholesale changes. And yes, it's a quick turnaround for Thursday. The players put a lot into the performance Thursday, not long between the 2 games. And rotations have been important, it's healthy. I get all of that. But this is the international break, as you said there with the previous guests, they went off. 18 days till we play next. I don't see the need for wholesale rotation changes. And I think that cost us today with that starting midfield, etc. And I think he got his substitutions wrong. So I think that put us in a difficult position. But I agree with the previous, a few previous guests that said it. Fulham were there for the taking and we didn't deliver. So it was really poor from a Spurs point of view. And it's, so many defeats now. It's like 15 in the league, 19 in all competitions. I mean, it's just unacceptable. Losing 50% of our Premier League fixtures. It's not pretty reading. And again, as a previous guest said, we find ourselves not in a relegation scrap because luckily there are worse teams in the league. But based on the way we've been playing, we should be down there. So it's disappointing. We're really inconsistent. The only thing we've been consistent about is being inconsistent. So it's really disappointing for sure. And you saw those scenes at the end. It's no surprise at all.
How did you feel about Ange's impassioned defense of himself in the week? And do you think that I kind of worry for him. I feel a bit sorry for him sometimes. I worry for him that he does that. And then if you lose straight away, you just make yourself look like a bit of a dick.
Well, he always has a lot to say. He's too opinionated. This is the type of thing you want to be hearing, Barnaby, when we've won those trophies, rather than, now we're in a difficult moment, 13th, and he's got a lot to say after one win. Well, let me assure you that he'll have nothing to say. I mean, I think he's doing it as we speak, his post-match reaction, his conference, but he'll have nothing to say in that. That's the thing. He's just very selective, and like he always has a bit of a mood after the game. We lose, when we win, it's totally different. It's the same with little things like eye contact and after. It does all annoy me. But he was probably right in, having listened to what he said, he was right in some things in terms of managers, how they're treated generally. It wouldn't be accepted in any other kind of job, but he's just got to keep quiet, get on with the job, because this team's struggling. We're not consistent, and he's got a lot to change and try and achieve with this group. So yeah, the wrong time to be talking, let's say.
Harry, I assume you kind of feel the same as we've probably mostly all started to feel, which is that there's no chance Ange loses his job this season now, really, is there?
No, there isn't. No, it might have been different if we went out on Thursday, but no, he has till the end of the season. But there's a serious possibility that we will be looking for a new manager at the end of the season. I think wherever we, the fans stand with Postecoglou, I think we can all come together and say that it wouldn't be a surprise if he did leave the club, because this season has been nothing short of disastrous. There's been a few positives out of it. One of them's that we're still in the Europa League. There's still that chance. But yeah, a lot of it for me is on him, and there's so many times I've gone to defend him, wanted to defend him, and he just finds this a way to dig himself an even deeper hole and prove his critics right. So it's really disappointing. But the club's in a difficult place at the moment. But Postecoglou, as you say, won't get sacked for the end of the season. There's no need to. Nothing's going to change apart from instant, I suppose, manager bounce. He'll be given to the end of the season, I think. But it's already kind of dragging out, isn't it? Separating Europe and the league. It's just about Europa League now.
And a lot of people talk about how, even if we lost Postecoglou, who's going to want to come and manage Spurs? But do you not think that some managers would look at the spine and the possible spine, and look at like Vicario, Van de Ven? I'm taking out Romero just because there's a chance he leaves, I guess. So Vicario, Van de Ven, Bergvall, Gray, Solanke, with some kind of extras on the sides of like the likes of Odebear and blah, blah, blah. Do you not think that some managers look at that and think, actually, there is a really good opportunity to build something really good at that club?
Yeah, you think so. But if we're being honest with you, Barnaby, we've been really unlucky with injuries, but we should be in a lot better position. Look at Bournemouth, Iraola. It's a manager a lot of Spurs fans talk about. I know they're struggling at the moment, in a difficult moment, but they've coached really well with players they've had out. And that's something that Spurs and Postecoglou haven't done. We shouldn't be 13th, and we're getting players back now, and we're still losing games like this. I mean, look at our bench. There's clear depth there. So there's no excuse to be dropping points in games like this. We did as well before players were out injured. But yeah, I don't buy this kind of logic that Spurs is an unattractive place to go. Lovely, shiny new stadium, still a big club. Gesson mentioned it before. We win trophies. Newcastle playing the League Cup final today. We've won so many trophies since they last won their silverware. This is a big club we're talking about, a club that should be in Europe every year. So I don't think it's a case of we're going to struggle to attract managers. But we've got a lot of problems, but I don't think attracting a manager will be. I think finding the right manager, definitely, because Postecoglou, I think, plays the way that we want to see as fans, and that really represents the club, the history of Spurs. But it is so, I think, one-dimensional, so bold, and he just requires the very best in every single position to achieve things, to win things, like he had at Celtic, for example, or over in Japan, both the best in his league even before he come in. He just can't do that at Spurs. It's not the way we recruit. It's not the way we won. It's just not the way that Levy does business either, is it? So it's difficult.
And Harry, ball. What are our chances of winning this Europa League?
Good question. I'd love to sit here and go, come on, we can win the Europa League, but Frankfurt is going to be no secret.
Let me make it more simple for you. If Tottenham had all of their players available for every round, every leg of the Europa League run from here, what are our chances of winning it, do you think?
I still think it's not going to happen, to be honest with you, because of the way we play, Barnaby, and I think we know that we're going to struggle away from home. I dread that Frankfurt away leg. At home, I think we have a better chance, because I know we're like away in Europe, but it's just a consistency thing, even with players available, because pretty much the whole team's available today, but we were inconsistent in our performance, really bad in the first half, better in the second half, but we, ultimately concede goals in that second half. So I don't think we're win it, Barnaby. I mean, I would have said maybe different on Thursday and adrenaline of that win, but overall, I think that we probably progress a little bit further and maybe get to that semi-final, but there's still top teams in it. It's more than likely Lazio in that semi-final. That will be tough. As I said, Frankfurt in the quarters, third in the Bundesliga, second, I think, high scorers in the Bundesliga, maybe third. So they're an impressive outfit. That won't be easy, but we're going to have to be better than this. And there's so many senior players, isn't there, on the pitch that one week they turn up they don't the next. And there was so many, in particular today, senior players that I just thought really poor and, not fit to wear the badge. There'd be a lot of questions marks around them in the summer, assuming you mentioned one of them. So I don't think we'll win the Europa League, but I'd love to be proven wrong. Really would love to be.
I agree with you. I'd love that to happen as well. And if we get to Bilbao, I, for one, will be there. And hopefully any final would be more fun than the 22 seconds of enjoyment I had from that Champions League final in 2019. Harry, thanks so much for being a part of the show, mate. Really appreciate it. Let's talk again soon. And remind the audience, Harry, before you go, of where they can find your podcast, your shows and stuff.
Yeah, thank you very much for this opportunity once again. I'm regular here, luckily, at Chris Cowling's channel, and obviously it's great to talk to you again, Barnaby. Always a pleasure. But yeah, I have my own YouTube channel and podcast, Scarfy Spurs Talk, and also have on my own socials. I'm a football content creator, Harry Scarf 22. So yeah, massive. We appreciate this opportunity and big up the chat. I know it's not easy with a Spurs fan, but as you said earlier, 18 days before we next play, it's time to relax. But another thing I'll mention is our record immediately before the international break is shocking. I mean, we lost to Fulham last year before the international break.
5 in a row.
We never win before.
Yeah, 5 in a row. 5 in a row. Absolutely pathetic.
Oh, dear.
Thank you, Harry. Thanks again, mate. See you later.
Take care. Have a good day.
Bye-bye. All right, guys, if you would like to appear on a future episode talking to me after a Spurs game, do email tottenhamfanchris@gmail.com. That's tottenhamfanchris@gmail.com. It's very important to us at this channel, gives everyone a voice, particularly those from around the world. So wherever you are from, please do get in touch. All right, guys, make sure, if you're not already, do give this video a like. Make sure you subscribe to the Spurs, Chris's channel and the Spurs Chat podcast, which is at Chris Cowling on YouTube, and also my channel at Barnaby Slater _. Chris will be here in about 10 minutes' time hosting the Spurs Chat podcast from 4:30, where he'll be joined by Jar Wobble, Adrian Tisato, and Terry Kim. Listen, another difficult defeat. I think, as Harry was saying, our 19th in all competitions. It's getting harder and harder to defend this season, but we are still in that Europa League. And that is where this season is different to any other in the last couple of decades, actually, where we can just, and clearly are, just concentrating on one thing. And therefore, I didn't shout at the screen today. I didn't get upset. I wasn't surprised that we lost that game. And I can't be a hypocrite and say that I'm anything other than a bit apathetic about it. I thought we did okay in the second half. I thought Gray and Bergvall showed the future of our club, some of the potential that we've got, but also at the same time, once again, just conceding the same chances over and over and over again, and knowing that against better teams, if we let them get into down to the byline on their left 6 times in every half, they're going to score a lot of goals. But no changes are going to happen anytime soon. Ange is going to have the season, and he has a chance. I'm sorry to say it, those of you who are hating on him, he has a chance to make himself a hero. If he wins that Europa League and gets us into the Champions League, he will turn around and say, stuff it all down your faces. I won the Europa League. I got us in the Champions League, and I've shown that when we have our best team available, it works. And there is still a chance of that. But as Harry said, I have to say it's a small and ever-receding chance, in my opinion. But I hope desperately to be proven wrong, and I hope he stuffs our negativity down our throat. But yeah, again, another disappointing London derby defeat today. And next game, in 18 days' time or whatever it is, Chelsea away. What could possibly go wrong? I'll tell you what will happen. We'll lose. We just got to hope that when we lose away at Chelsea, we don't get any more injuries. Anyway, that has been the end of the day. I hope you can all settle in now and enjoy the Carabao Cup final as well. Maybe watch that alongside the Spurs Chat podcast in 10 minutes' time with Chris Cowling. Make sure you find that on the same channel on a different stream. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys. Come on, you Spurs.